Philosophical. Oh shit. Didn't change my scene. Okay. There we go. MrGirl.tv. What do you mean? What's the question? You know. Am I getting that weird feedback from? What a fucking shirt. I have my audio muted right now. I have to mute everybody else there. Okay. I muted everybody but paper scissors so my stream doesn't pick them up.
I know nothing about these people, unfortunately.
Yeah, I definitely recommend you you talk to Lav. I think you guys would complement each other very nicely.
Which of you is getting custody after the divorce?
Oh, of Steven?
No, of Lav.
Oh, custody of Lav?
Isn't Lav the father, right? Or
no, I think so. I think so. Well, I told Lav that I'm her father, and she didn't say that wasn't true. Okay, listen, you're
Am I still robotic?
Yeah, something's going on.
It's pretty bad.
Good.
This is gonna be
Lav means to wash in French. That's true. I think it's short for lavender, though.
This is correct.
Probably makes sense. Input. How's this? Is this better?
No, sounds the same.
Does Max sound a lot louder?
It's weird because you sounded fine right
else?
until we started.
Well, that would imply that it's sort of on your end. Strange.
Oh, you think it's on my end?
Well, if I was streaming before this started, so if the audio quality suddenly went down as soon as you started streaming, then that would imply.
I think my music quality's on. Okay. 1 second.
Chat, how's my audio doing? Yeah, they can hear me fine.
Let's listen to this.
Well, who are we talking to? Who are we talking about?
I mean, he was talking to Aaron, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's my audio. Why did my audio get screwed up right when the stream started?
Destiny took the audio quality and settled.
Damn. Wait. Must be something I just did, right?
There must be.
Fuck.
I wonder if you do this all the
Yeah,
time, so
I
can't
do
imagine
have
that would be
something
the
to say
cause.
to
No, but this
someone.
happened last time. Right as soon as my stream started, the audio quality got all fucked. I had to restart my computer to fix it.
Check your Discord sound setting. One thing I don't.
No, it's
no
not
idea.
Discord. I just tried listening to a YouTube video and it sounded bad.
Oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, but is your chat hearing everything okay?
No. They said you sound weird.
Oh well then, guys, subscribe to President Sunday for the high quality version of this.
Oh, you motherfucker. Okay, wait. Keep talking.
That's pretty good.
When you eat your Smarties, do you eat the right ones last? Do you crunch them very slowly? Do you suck them very fast? Or strict never?
I'm a fast sucker myself.
Could have fooled me. I think you were. I think the conversation last night went on for almost 3 hours, if not more.
It was 3 hours, yeah. There's 2 audio sources playing. Yeah, but why would I hear 2?
It's a good question.
I'm not trolling you. I don't understand it. It just stopped working as soon as I started. Should I restart my audio interface?
Maybe you're asking the wrong person. I'm not.
Okay.
A guy.
Well, I got a super chat, so I'm going to read that. Husker said, looking forward to more talks with professionals and an end to the drama. The DGG orbit is not healthy. I don't think it's a coincidence that Hassan said DGG made him suicidal. A clip that Destiny laughed at, by the way. I didn't know he said that. I saw that he wrote some pretty long posts with a ton of upvotes about how he was going to have to like step back from the community because it was hurting his mental health, and that was I didn't read the post, but I was like, well, yeah, okay, I'm not crazy. I understand. I get. So it is real.
I mean, that's part of the course. You did the same thing with Cyberwitch Alexi back in the day. This is fairly consistent with.
Really, I see. I don't know much of his history, honestly.
Well, imagine how. They're all 100% true. And
Oh, I fixed
in
it.
addition to that,
Oh, sorry. Imagine what? I restarted my audio interface, but I think we're good now. Okay. Imagine what?
just imagine a world without Batman. I'm sorry. It's the thing about Destiny is that while on screen he tries to control the worst elements of his audience, from insulting and harassing people in chat and being all sorts of things that you would never as a public figure want to be associated with.
Yeah.
In practice, when he's safely off stream, or so he thinks, he does all of that himself. It's just who he is, actually.
Well, I think we should acknowledge that you're hyper vigilant about these things. Not to discredit what you're saying, but we should acknowledge you're coming from a perspective of hyper vigilance. Like you cut ties with Chud Logic over
over, to be clear, his editor, not just threatening his mod staff, but also characterizing Rhizome, who's a teacher, as a pedophile for no reason.
Yes.
For continuing to harass people in his server, for like a whole bunch of things. Just a nasty, nasty piece of work.
Sure. I just want.
So for me personally, and for quite a few people whose judgment I respect, that's a no-brainer.
Sure, but do you agree that
minimum, don't leave that person in control of your server or control of your channel?
Do you agree with the characterization of you as hyper vigilant?
I don't much care if that floats your boat.
It floats it good.
What?
All right.
All
right. So you said you wanted to talk. I wanted to talk to you. I invited you on, but you said you wanted to talk for 30 minutes before taking calls. Was there a specific thing you wanted to talk about, or you just want to shoot the breeze?
There's two. I assumed 30 minutes would be on the lower end of what an actual conversation would take, so I didn't want it to be 10 minutes where we cut it off the quarter-way mark, and then move on to, I guess, however the audience question works here.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the recent thing with what's her face, Cherry and Stardust, in particular the Stardust one.
Okay. So yeah, I'm
So I
sure
just ate
most
spaghetti
people know,
with
but
a little extra acid.
I'm streaming on Rumble, so there's probably some new. I think they're featuring us on the front page,
Based.
possibly. If so, there's some new people. So Stardust and Cherry are Destiny orbiters. They're streamers who I was pretty friendly with. I was definitely friends with Stardust. We had a couple discussions that kind of turned into debates about consent. And in each conversation, and I'm going to do this in this conversation too, I stood up to stretch my back as I have a herniated disc. So sitting for prolonged periods is not a good idea for me. After having these discussions, they talked to each other and came to a agreement that I was standing up to flash them. That because my midriff was exposed, I have a hairy stomach, I was trying to flash my pubes to them. Now, my pubic hair was not visible, but Stardust took a clip of my stomach hair and put a blur box over it and then wrote a description saying I had flashed my pubes. And I immediately posted the unedited version, and this resulted in kind of a dog pile of her in the responses. She got a very negative response. She took the video down, apologized for it, but has since still kind of maintained that I didn't flash her, but I was making her uncomfortable in the conversation overall, and that she thinks I was doing so on purpose. And we've basically kind of cut ties over this because I freaked out. I didn't want my, Mr. Girl Flash's female colleagues to fly around like a rumor. I did everything I could to squash it. I don't think anybody really, I mean, unless President Sunday, you're gonna say you are on their side. I think for the most part, public opinion has swayed my way in my favor, and yeah. So that was a week ago or a week and a half ago. Almost 2 weeks
I don't
ago.
much care about that. What I
Okay.
was getting at was in the course of the conversation at various points, it appeared to me as if you were doing something a little bit sneaky
Yeah.
and playing with the
Some
ambiguity
ice.
of the
I gotta get ice
context
pack for my
Okay.
to essentially
my very swollen
weaponize
genitals. They're
references to
killing me.
sexual violence in the course of the conversation in order to throw your
Oh,
interlocutor
actually,
off guard.
I can
Okay.
ask my wife. Hey, lady.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Why don't you enlighten me?
There are two things. One, I said to Stardust, I think that you're too. I think this is too triggering for you.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I had an air bubble in my mouth. Go on, continue.
I said I think this is too triggering for you,
I'm gonna step off.
and that like you can't follow the conversation. I was like, we were talking about consent, and I was like, I think you literally can't understand what I'm saying. To fill you in on that, I was talking about how when you set sexual boundaries with someone, even if they're healthy sexual boundaries, for you, for the other person, it can feel like you're being controlling or manipulative. This isn't a reason to drop your boundaries, but I don't think I think it's important to empathize with both parties if you're discussing like a woman saying no to a man, because I was telling a story in which I thought a woman was being excessively untrusting of me, and it made me angry at her. But I didn't push her boundaries.
Park that. I want to return to that afterwards. Continue. Sorry.
Okay, sure. So I was just giving that as an example of how it feels as a man. I said I felt like I was being racially profiled, basically. Like if you have had all these bad experiences with men, and it's led you to be not very untrusting, but let's say more vigilant and careful, having that caution shown with me made me feel like personally insulted. And Stardust kept saying I was trying to debate her out of her sexual boundaries. And I kept saying, like, I'm not really debating about your boundaries. It's more trying to give you my perspective on how it feels to date somebody who delays sex for a really long time, or who is like super careful about when and how they have sex. On the other end, it like doesn't feel great. None of this is a prescription for you to change your boundaries. You in the audience, if you don't want to put out, don't put out. It wasn't like advice on my part. It was me just saying, like, this is my personal experience on the other end of that.
And midway through the conversation, you looked deadpan into the camera and you said to Stardust, I feel like I'm raping you right now.
I don't think I
What were you doing when you said that?
I don't think I deadpanned. I think I was pretty angry when I said that.
All right, you looked with rage in your eyes into the camera.
Yes.
Said,
Well, I think
feel
that's
like I'm
important.
raping you
I
right
think that's
now.
important to note that I was in the middle of a tirade against her when I was saying that.
And this is mitigating judgment.
I'm not saying it's mitigating. Well, I think if you're saying I'm doing something manipulative to trigger her, I do think if I'm looking deadpan and saying I feel like I'm raping you, that does give more of an air of like trying to trigger her rather than I was triggered and screaming because I was freaking out, which is I think closer to the truth.
Okay, fair enough. So when I characterize you in that conversation as weaponizing an ambient and history in the case of your interlocutor, in that case Stardust, who by this point you're aware, because I think she's actually said in the conversation, she does have a history of sexual assault in her past that did a number on her psychologically. Um, you were indeed doing precisely that. You were saying that in order to break down her self-esteem in the conversation and
No,
to
no,
portray her
absolutely,
in a
absolutely not.
subordinate light to the audience.
Absolutely not.
Your immediate impulse was to try and defend it by saying you were angry.
Damn it! I'm sorry. I'm trying to mute
Yes.
those coughs.
So I'm not trying. Anger doesn't make me want to break people down.
I was.
Well, then what is it? What is it
messaging
precisely you think you
somebody
were doing?
about I was on a stream earlier today. The philosophy one.
Freaking out. I was expressing myself.
See,
So
that's
wait.
a little bit
Wait.
confusing to me. When I freak out,
Wait.
I've
Stop.
never.
Stop. I don't. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Of course, I want to go first.
Then go first.
President.
Don't ask me a question and then just launch into your narrative of what happened because I don't think you understand me very well, and that's fine if you don't understand me very well. But don't. I, my emotional and psychological state and what was happening in that
usually
moment
like 30
is
minutes to an
complicated, and
hour.
I think
You
you
did
need
start
to
late, so we'll
take
see.
some.
Maybe on your side it was. I'm asking what you were doing, not what you were feeling.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I mean, what I
for
was
sure.
doing is complicated too, and you're gonna need to let me kind of lay my case for it. But if you want to say what I was doing, then you can go first too.
Oh,
But
take it away.
okay, this is something I've been talking about a lot
Congratulations.
on the channel ever since the doll review. In the doll review, where I reviewed a sex doll, this is the head of the sex doll I reviewed.
Are
This
you
is a
playing
very explicit
vibrating
video.
anal beads?
I actually,
Who's
you know,
saying these
I
things?
fucked the doll. But
Wash your hands afterwards.
I washed my hands and her hands afterwards.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think I ever washed her hands. But I washed the parts that needed washing.
You bought a sex doll and you used her hands?
Where are the anal beads?
I tried them. I didn't buy the sex doll. They sent it to me as a review copy. This doll is $6,000. I didn't buy it. Jesus Christ.
$6,000?
Yes.
It's like a CGI monkey.
Well, she looks better with the
man.
hair on.
And
I mean,
then
she has a whole body. She weighs like 120 pounds or something. It's like a whole silicone, posable like body. So at the end of this doll review, I found fucking the doll horrifying. I really didn't like it. I told the doll actually. I said to the doll, "I feel like you raped me." And I had a conversation with the doll about that. But then I talked to my girlfriend, Shaylin, and I said one thing I learned about myself with the doll is that the doll was exciting because I really like the idea of having sex where the other person like isn't moving or doing anything or like bothering me, where I can just really be selfish. But it's kind of meaningless if the other party is like dead. So it's like it was kind of like fucking a corpse, which I really didn't like. So I told Shaylin, I said, I realized I'm so focused on taking care of you when we have sex that I want monthly to have sex where you just lay still and are like silent. And she said, okay. And I said, well, wait a second. I feel like you're not really thinking through the implications of this for you. I feel like this is more upsetting to you. You're pretending to be all cool about this, but like you're not really that easygoing sexually. So like, I'm going to need some assurance that you are actually attuning to your own feelings and taking care of yourself and like sort of psychologically monitoring yourself in a way that normally I would feel obligated to do. That's the thing I want to not do, but one of us has to do it. So this turned into like a big argument.
I thought you were talking to me for a second. Dear God, continue.
No, I don't think we're there yet. I like you. I don't want you to be insulted that I wasn't talking to you.
I'm patient. Continue.
Good. So, the feeling I wanted to not have was the feeling that I'm raping her. I wanted to be selfish and be in control, but I wanted to know that she is caretaking herself in the conversation. And basically, that it's her job to stop me from raping her. That if she feels violated, she has to tell me to stop. She has to pay attention to her feelings. She can't dissociate. She can't go comatose and still.
So are we
and
talking Stardust or Shaylin right now?
We're talking about Shaylin still.
Okay.
So the whole reason we had this big argument was I was like, I know you'll agree at the outset, like, yeah, sure, I'll be your fuck doll, but I need you to be a attuned, emotionally present fuck doll, or else I'm gonna feel like I'm raping you. Okay.
Oh, God.
In the Stardust conversation, she made it clear after our first debate about this that she didn't understand the conversation. She did this by DMing me immediately after our first conversation and saying,
Sunday looks,
I'm sorry I was so boring in that
magnificently
conversation,
uncomfortable.
but I don't understand that conversation. I
probably
just
look a
don't
little
understand that
uncomfortable when he
conversation.
does that.
Literally, that is word for word what she said. And I responded by saying, okay, well, if you want to talk about this offline or online or whatever, like, is there something you don't understand, or like, what? And she just like didn't respond to me for weeks at a time. And then, so we finally agreed to have another conversation. And this time our friendship was pretty frayed and distant because it had been months. She said that I think she characterized me as trying to tear down her sexual boundaries, which made me feel like you've tricked me. You actually can't really have this conversation. You're not capable of understanding it, like you said. But you made it sound like you are now, or like we're going to have a different kind of the conversation, or it's going to be different this time. But you're just saying again, you want to talk about sex with me, but if I talk about my own sexual experience, if I'm selfish, like in the doll review, if I'm selfish and say, this is how it feels to me when someone denies me sex, this is just my personal experience, it's not about you, it's not a judgment of you, this is just how it looks from my point of view. And she says, you're tearing down my sexual boundaries. It made me feel like you've put me in this incredibly unfair position where you're saying, yeah, let's have this. I'm totally cool to have this conversation. And I checked in with her a whole bunch of times during the first talk. Are you sure this is okay? Are you getting upset? Are you mad at me? This seems weird. What's going on? And every single time she was like, no, I'm fine. And then it ended up destroying our friendship. And so I was really angry at her that she was not attuned enough to her own emotions, and if she is not forthright enough about her own emotions, to make it clear to me that we shouldn't talk about this.
Okay, I understand that. I follow you there.
Okay.
Here's the disconnect for me.
Okay.
I'm not seeing a connection between point A and point B where you feel like Stardust is not in a place to have this conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you staring into the camera and telling someone you characterize as a friend in front of an audience of thousands, someone who you know has a history of sexual assault.
Motherfucker, can you stop?
Feel like
You're the one drawing the.
Her.
Okay, I said I feel like I'm raping you because she was telling me that I was somehow attacking her sexual boundaries and violating her somehow just by presenting my own experience in the conversation. And one thing I'm very sensitive to throughout my life, growing up with a man-hating lesbians. Wait, let me finish. One thing I'm very sensitive to, having been raised by. No, I'm not finished. I'm not finished. I'm not finished. One thing I'm very sensitive to, being raised by man-hating lesbians, is being told that my sexuality is inherently destructive and violating and violent to other people. So it felt very underhanded and shitty of her to tell me that somehow by telling her what dating is like for me.
Raised by man-hating lesbians.
I guess.
Is that what you're called, MrGirl?
Somebody just got
maybe. I don't know why.
It
goes deep.
Then you?
one of the reasons
they're just gonna be
one of the
like
reasons I'm
5
named Mr.
minutes.
No, her telling me that just by explaining my own experience of sex, I am violating her. I felt very angry and felt like I was being set up to feel responsible for her sexual boundaries and responsible for somehow violating them just by talking about myself. So I angrily said, I feel like I'm raping you, because I did. Because you can't have it both ways. Either you can't participate in the conversation, in which case you need to not do this with me on stream.
Locution and its consequences in a public venue, Mr. Girl, are not the same thing as the feeling.
And the second option is to have the conversation and deal with the emotional and psychological consequences of hearing a man tell you what sex is like for him. But don't invite me to open up about my own sexual history and my own sexual trauma, and then say it violated you just hearing about it. That's not fair.
If in the course of giving that explanation, this is where I see that you're sort of skirting in this gray, ambiguous area. You are making references that directly connect with the ambience of sexual violence against women and this person's sexual history in particular. That's a different thing than just giving an honest account of your past. You're also weaponizing the language you're using to describe it in the first place.
Well, I don't agree. Wait. Let's get specific and let's not abstract into weaponizing.
We'll have to bring up the video to do that.
Well, I'm fine with a characterization, but I just don't agree that weaponizing.
I'm not. I'm very particular.
Well, then don't say weaponizing.
No, I will continue to say weaponizing.
Well, then you're not very particular.
I think that's unambiguous. I think any reasonable person.
No, any reasonable person can know what you mean, but they're not going to know. They're not going to know what.
Let's be realistic here. We both know for a fact you're not completely. You're not as innocent as you try to portray yourself. You know for a certain fact.
I don't agree with you.
You know for.
I'm not portraying myself as innocent.
Hang on. You've had a lot of time to speak. Give me a moment.
No, but you're just stringing along.
You don't know yet. I haven't.
No, you have already told lies. No.
Tell me what I'm going to say.
I don't care what you're going to say. I'm worried about what you just said. You just said, well, we all know, blah, blah. No, we don't all know. That's why we're arguing, motherfucker.
Oh, I haven't finished that thought yet. You don't even know what I was saying.
It doesn't matter. I don't want you to start.
It matters.
No, I didn't. If I said, well, we all know Stardust is a manipulative.
You seem uncomfortable, Max.
Yes, I'm uncomfortable because you're lying.
Lying about what?
Your fucking slimy argumentation tactics. Imagine if I had said.
What's the lie?
Imagine if the lie is that you think it's fair to start an argument with "we all know." If I started by saying, "Well, we all know Stardust is a liar," I think you would say, "I think
you and I know something."
You and I
know, and you can disagree with me if we don't.
So then, don't tell me we know it. Just say what you think. Stick to your side.
I think you and I both know something.
And I think you and I both know that you're lying. I think you and I both know that you're not being fair in your characterization.
The difference is,
I think we both know that Okay, and the difference is that you're wrong. So if we're going to have a good faith argument where I think you're wrong and you think I'm wrong, I don't think it's very good faith. I think
there should be some parity in the amount of time we speak.
There should. So if you want parity in the amount of time we speak, do not tell me what I think, or I'm going to talk for a really long time. Say what you think.
All right.
Okay.
I think.
Yes.
That I think.
Yes.
That you and I both know.
No. You can,
for example, that your career thus far has benefited greatly from the perception. Clever devil. There we go. That you and I both know that your career has benefited greatly from the perception that you are, maybe you are indeed a little bit shocking and outrageous, but that you are comically shocking and outrageous. That you are some cosmic level pervert and serial abuser, and this generates a certain fascination about your character.
I don't agree with you.
We both know very clearly what you were doing. For example, in your consent video, you're squelching the pizza dough.
Yeah.
And you're looking at the camera like this while you're talking about sexual consent.
Yes.
We know what you're doing.
No, I think we probably don't both think that I'm doing the same thing.
I think the plausible deniability about that is your bread and butter. I don't need to substantiate that.
Okay, you don't have to. But don't tell me that I think it, or you do need to substantiate. If you're going to tell me what I think, you have to substantiate it. If you're going to tell me what you think, then fine. But what's really annoying...
What's really annoying... what I think we both think. There's a degree of separation there.
Okay, I think you can make one case at a time. It's pretty intolerable to hear you tell me that I think something that I just don't think, and then have that be evidence of the thing. If you want to argue that I do think it, and that's the argument, that's fine.
I'm feeling, Max, I'm
Yes.
feeling like you're not emotionally ready for this conversation.
You feel like you're raping me?
Matter of fact, I do.
I'm proud of you for saying that. Do you think you're weaponizing my sexual trauma by saying that? Or maybe is
More
it?
of it's more of I'm riposting your sexual trauma, which you're weaponizing.
Well, no, I have sexual trauma.
So do I.
Okay. Well, it's more okay for you to say that
You've
you
met
feel...
your match, Max. You've met your max match.
If you want to make the case that I weaponized Stardust sexual trauma, one of your pieces of evidence can't be, we all know you weaponized her sexual trauma. If you're going to just say that, then there isn't really any debate or conversation to be had. If the premise
Actually, I
is
disagree.
If the premise is
I can actually explain precisely how your feelings and intent don't matter in this situation, and you should know better either way.
No, I agree with you that my feelings and intent don't matter in this situation.
Really? Okay, so the perlocutionary force of you saying, I feel like I'm raping you to Stardust, that's independent of your feelings. That whole exposition you gave, that doesn't matter.
No,
we both know what the
it
implications are of that and how that situates her in the conversation before
No,
an
we
audience.
don't both know. I don't agree with you. I think that you're sexist. So I think everything that you say about me
Just
and
because girls in your name doesn't mean I'm sexist for disagreeing with you, man.
everything you say about women goes through a filter in my brain of me thinking you're incredibly sexist and infantilizing to women. So
I don't remember speaking about women at all. Where have I spoken about women?
Stardust is the woman you're infantilizing in this
Stardust
case.
isn't women. Stardust is a proper noun.
Stardust is a woman. I believe
Stardust
you're
is a
infantilizing.
woman.
I believe you're infantilizing her because she is a woman.
I haven't talked about her mental state whatsoever. I'm talking about what you are presented with in that conversation and what your responsibilities are given what you know.
I don't know anything about her sexual history.
You know that she was sexually assaulted. She said as much. That's why I know about it.
She said that after I said I think the conversation's too triggering for you because of your history.
Is that the first time she said it in conversation with you? It's the first time it's ever been mentioned in your presence?
Yes.
There's a video record of this, so if you're lying, we will know.
Oh, well, I didn't remember her sexually. If I
can't
knew her
hear it
sexual history at
anymore.
one time.
They're like
Go on.
on the MrGirl's.
It is a plausible
TV
deniability,
stream.
I'll give you that.
Is it me?
Okay, thank you.
I hear it fine on MrGirl.tv.
Oh,
Maybe
shit.
she talked about it in our first conversation, like 10 months ago?
I think we've drained this one
There we
dry.
go.
I actually do want to talk about the issue that you were debating Stardust and Cherry about. Do you want to recharacterize that for us? We can move on to that.
Sure. Well, I just don't agree. Your idea of my responsibilities to Stardust in that conversation is the point of contention, and it is the reason I said it in the first place. The argument we were having at that point was about what my responsibilities to you are. Am I responsible for going beyond asking you if this topic is upsetting you and too triggering for you? Do I actually have to stop the conversation if I determine that you're not fucking mentally competent to have it? Or are you a streamer that can consent to having this conversation that you asked me to have both times? I think it's the second one. I agree that it's like kind of shitty, and I agree that it's painful, and I agree that Stardust might in the short term be better off if I did caretake her and I did just decide for her, hey honey, you can't really do this. You can't talk about this. This is so triggering this is so triggering for you that you can't talk about it.
Given the rampancy of sexual assault in North America that we know of, I think making that statement categorically, that could have been a complete stranger, and on a coin toss, that probably would have had the same effect. And I think you're smart enough to know that.
I don't agree with you about what the effect.
Even the ambience, even someone who hasn't experienced that.
I don't agree.
The immediate impact of that to an audience is that they are making associations of this person in a subordinate and victimized sexual relationship with you, while this person is trying to speak.
I don't agree with you about the effect, or how we should judge the effect. I don't agree that that made people think she was subordinate.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, but I would like to finish this point before you
Can I
derail
ask you a
it.
question? Then I will let you speak at length.
I don't want to speak at length. I just want to say briefly that is the whole argument we were having. Whose responsibility is are who's responsible for your feelings in a discussion about sexual trauma that you or boundaries that you've entered into? Is it my job to shape and guide the conversation and not say things that are going to be triggering or re-traumatizing or upsetting to you? Or is it your job to hold your own boundaries and get out of the conversation if you don't like the way that it's going?
My question is earnest, because I actually am in the dark about this. Is there any instance in your history online of you making a statement akin to, I feel like I'm raping you, to a man?
Yeah.
Akin to, in terms of your view of it being making the person subordinate to me?
I give you a blank check. Interpret that how you will.
I can't imagine Mr. Real wouldn't say that to a man.
I said
thank you for liking the
yesterday
stream. That
when I
helps
was
a lot.
talking to Steven.
Got to talk about that at some point too.
I said
there's an obvious incompatibility there. You got to get over it.
I said I'm a bit uncomfortable because I basically didn't say it in the same way. So no, I didn't say it in the same way, but I said it for the same reason. He asked me, "Why do you think I'm sensitive?" And when I told him why I thought he was sensitive, he started yelling at me that I was trying to mind read him and implying that I'm like gaslighting him. And I'm like, well, do you consent or not? You just asked me to speculate about your psychology, and now you're telling me that I'm violating you somehow by speculating about your psychology. So I need you to figure this out. Are you consenting to me talking about this or not? So I did feel like I was raping him. That was why I said it. But
did you say something that would be interpreted by a neutral audience as something in the ballpark of, I feel like I'm raping you, Steven?
No, but I did. I did feel like that.
But your feelings don't matter. We agreed on that point.
My feelings don't matter in one sense. That if the audience knows how I'm feeling, then they start to matter. Because it adds context to why I'm saying it. Yes, if the only thing you know is a guy told a girl, I feel like I'm raping you in the middle of an argument about boundaries, then yes, that definitely has a certain impact and closer to the one that you're describing. But I think if you heard the rest of the conversation and if you know me and her and our relationship, I think it takes on a different meaning.
Yeah, I think that's the ticket, man. I think that's a winning argument. Let's talk about the argument you were having with Cherry and Stardust. You came for that?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that.
You okay with letting me pee first?
Yeah.
Be right back.
Okay.
Time for an ad break, guys.
This motherfucker. Hey, Sunday. Fuck. Does El Presidente thinks if someone talked to him like he talks to Mr. Girl is persuasive? I don't think he's really trying to be persuasive. I think he's just kind of fucking with me. What does Sunday normally do for content? He does a lot of research streams. He does some reaction videos to political arguments, and he participates in political arguments himself. Yeah. You infantilize Stardust because she's a woman. I infantilize Stardust because she is a streamer. We are not the same. I mean, is it contentious at all that it is fucked up to women that rape analogy is the free space on the stream bingo card? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Women get raped a lot more than men. That's for sure. I'm not able to log in on the site. Who do I talk to have it resolved? I don't know. If your Discord account is less than a day old, maybe that's why you can't log in. I don't know why. Wait, what? How did you super chat me if you can't log in? Who are you? Don't fuck with me. I can't believe I fell for that. Sunday is weirdly likable. I agree. Against all odds, somehow he's likable.
You know, Max, I think the same thing about you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Damn shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame. If only we could just hate each other.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Make my life easier. So, why don't you you definitely have a stronger remembrance of what that conversation was. Why don't you lay it out?
I've been playing it in my head over and over. Well, I think I already kind of laid it. Wait. Which one?
You
Stardust?
did, but I've got a bad memory. The
Okay.
Stardust and the consent thing and
Okay.
the
So the
there was
overall.
an STD forum.
Yeah.
Right.
So the overall argument is. I made a video, the pizza video that you're referring to, how to say no to sex. Just say no. Don't argue. Don't debate. Don't blah, blah, blah. Just say no. Don't say I'm tired. Don't say we're moving too fast. What, any of that shit. Just say no. Okay? I'm going to stand up for a minute. Are you going to put a blur box over it and say that it flashed you?
No.
Okay.
Frankly, I've been waiting for this all night.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. There it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Work that business.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I met a girl, right? And we hooked up a little bit, but not in the PIV variety. And I hadn't had sex in about 2 years. My wife had left me, and I thought it's time.
By the way, just a word to the wise. It's non-intuitive, but gray pants are what kind of, exposes things more. Black.
These are
black
pink. These are
usually.
actually pink.
Well, pink's gray and dark.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. So let me just. There we go. Okay. So we're fucking.
Just remember, I am on YouTube. They have different standards than Rumble. So.
Oh,
if that
you
goes
know
down
what?
too
I'm
far, we are
banned
gonna
on.
lose the
I'm. You
bot.
know, I'm banned on YouTube. And there's.
I do.
Okay. There's a rule that if I'm the host or primary creator of content. Now, since you're streaming just yourself and me in the corner,
I was actually streaming first. Technically, I'm hosting you. I'm doing a
Okay,
massive
good. Okay,
hypocrite.
I'm just saying. I just want to make
this
sure
is
you don't
clearly
you
about
get us right.
my call and my commentary about this.
Okay. So,
I should be okay.
we've been talking for about a year. We hooked up a little bit, no intercourse. After a year, I'm like, Jesus, I haven't had sex in like 2 years since my wife left me. I'm miserable.
Never heard of somebody hooking up for a year and not specifying no intercourse afterwards. Typically, you just say you're friends for a year, not we've hooked up for a year. You hooked up for a year to literally watch Netflix and that's it.
We
Sorry.
jacked each other off.
It's in the ballpark of sex, I think.
It is, but the intercourse part is relevant to the
Fair
story.
enough. Sorry, as you were.
Okay. So after a year of very occasional mutual jackination, I texted her and I said, "Hey, I'd like to have sex with you." So she said, "Okay, great, let's get tested." So we went to get tested. After getting tested, we went to get our results separately. I was clean. She was clean. We planned on meeting. And then as we were texting about meeting, she was like, "Okay, just make sure you bring your paper." And I was like, "No, what? I'm not bringing my paper." And she was like, "What are you talking about? You have to prove that you have no STDs." And I was like, "No, I'm not showing you my medical records. I am not proving shit to you. If you don't trust me enough to have sex with me, then just don't have sex with me."
That's where the conversation stopped, right? You just didn't have sex with them because they demonstrated by saying that they didn't trust you. Therefore, you're not going to have sex with them. You didn't litigate this afterwards, did you? You didn't say like, "Hey, I shouldn't have to show you my papers." You didn't allow like the emotional pressure, the social pressure.
Do you know if you look up bad faith, if you look up bad faith in the dictionary, there's a picture of you next to it? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Right above gullible.
Ooh.
Instead of you telling me what happened after that, why don't you just let me tell the story chronologically, and I'll tell you what happened. Okay.
Do it.
So I said, no, I'm not. I don't want to show you my medical records. And she was like, well then you can't have sex with me. And I was like, I know. Okay. And she was like astounded. She was like, why won't you just get the paper? And I was like, because I don't want to.
Actually, your camera's frozen. I need to move you back here. There we go. Sorry, your crotch is frozen on my screen for a little while. If I don't have like the Discord window open, you just freeze. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Ice is helping a lot.
So, we just kind of said, okay, fine. I think both of us were like, well, if you change your mind, let me know. But otherwise, fuck you.
Should check on something.
And we remained friendly. And I think that's the entirety of the story. I did tell her I was angry at her later, but I don't know if that. I don't think I told that part of the story to Stardust.
Which part of the story? Sorry.
I later told her that I was angry at her about this, like 2 months later. Because of something else that happened. But
You told your partner, like the partner that you.
yeah,
had
this
sex
this
with.
girl, I told her that I was angry at her about this. But I don't think this played. If I'm just recapping the Stardust and Cherry conversations, I don't think I talked about that. So then Stardust was saying, "Well, yeah, you know, I'm not someone that really puts out. You know, it takes me a while, sometimes months or whatever, to have sex with a new person." And I said, "Yeah, so for me, now that I'm in my 30s, I've noticed women in their 30s pretty much know if they want to have sex with you after 2 dates. And in reality,
Right.
honestly, in my experience, it's usually one date. People tend to. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just said fascinating.
I just think everybody's a little bit like, yeah, we fucking done this before. I mean, like, I've met a new person. Oh, look, it's your house. Oh, this is so nice. Oh, you want some tea? Blah blah. It's like we've done this fucking dance so many times, where you're, it's just more socially acceptable. I've noticed to be much more forward about wanting to have sex. Like the idea of texting someone and saying, "Do you want to have sex?" when I was like 16 or 22 or 25 would be like really weird, but now it just feels like yeah, and like I don't know.
I think that's
So I was saying to
primarily
Stardust,
how I've asked
yeah,
throughout my
I think
life.
if someone's
Said, "Do you want to have sex?"
waiting a few
I think it's
weeks or months, to me that would feel like I'm being tested.
easier.
And I think to some extent, and she was like, "No, it's not a test. It's just that I need to like make sure they're safe to like be with." And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's kind of what I mean by test. I think a lot of times women will say no to you and delay sex with you to see how you react to it, and that just feels like I'm being tested to make sure I respect consent." And I totally understand why women do that, because they don't want to have sex with somebody who is going to like not respect a boundary once you're already naked and in bed. It's like a way scarier situation to be setting boundaries then. So it makes sense that you set some test boundaries to make sure, like, okay, he if I say no, he backs off. He's not pushing me. He's not manipulating me. Blah blah. So I said I understand why you do that, but the more you do it, the more people are generally going to feel like it's a power play. Like it feels like, and I feel like I have to pay for the sins of all men.
Can
And
you elaborate on that? What do you mean by power play?
I mean a way to ensure that a way to obtain power in a situation that is not transparent.
In power. What power would they be attaining by this?
The power of being the person who decides when we have sex.
Don't they already have that power?
Both people have the power to decide when we don't have sex, but I think women in this case are obtaining the power to decide when we do have sex. So
Can't say no.
no, you can say no, but once you've already pushed for it, it's clear that you're not
No,
going to
no.
say.
Well, no. You demonstrated interest, but that doesn't mean that in the event that they ask for sex, you have to say no.
In most
Power
sex,
isn't power isn't the ability to
well, actually, that
consent
is.
to
Wait.
consent to an event
This is
that
how I'm.
somebody else
This is
wants
how.
to consent
This
to
is.
as well.
That's
Power is the
literally.
ability to coerce it.
Okay, you might
It's the
not
ability
like.
to force it.
You might not like my definition, but you asked me to set the definition. I'm telling you my definition. In
I didn't say
most.
you to set the.
You
I
got it.
asked you to explain what you mean.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
here's what.
say to set the
Okay.
definition. Yeah.
Here's
Sorry.
my definition of a power play in a consensual sexual
I understand what
relationship.
Sunday's going for there.
All right.
Is
That's fair.
jockeying
That
for the
makes sense.
position of being the person who, when they snap their fingers, sex happens. I've been that person. I've had other people be that person. Sometimes it's neither. Sometimes both people can snap their fingers. I think in most casual sexual relationships, after a while, things start to even out where there's one person who's kind of like on deck and the other person who's like, "Hey, are you free Saturday?" And they're like, "Yes." Or they're like, "Hey, it's 3 in the morning. Can you come over?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." And then oftentimes the other person does not have the ability to make it happen that way. So I don't mean the power to rape. I mean the power to.
Oh, no, I'm following you there.
Okay.
Can I ask you a clarifying question for myself?
Yes.
So obviously the thing that is making one party reliably agreeable to a sexual encounter such that you can describe the party withholding consent strategically as having some level of power.
Yeah.
That's an internal drive that's sort of beyond the control, and that's why it's a power play and not simply, like the natural result of different varying levels of interest in a perfectly equal exchange. Are we agreeing with that characterization?
I think the internal drive can be stoked through this behavior, and can
Sure.
also, if you know the person.
You'd make a fantastic Marxist, but we more or less agree though.
Okay, if you know the person is desperate, and you're not desperate, that's another differential there. But yes, it is an internal.
What if
internal drive.
hypothetically? Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
What if hypothetically? Okay.
Hypothetically.
There's an additional layer of complexity, and one party knows that the other party is partially invested in this relationship for access to sex.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that is incredibly invested in the relationship for reasons not having to do with immediate sexual access. They are emotionally attached to the person, or they value their friendship or their presence or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Would not that person be in a situation where they are now pressured by that internal drive, by that need, to have sex when they don't want to in order to maintain the relationship?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why is that even?
All right, continue.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
almost
it's
seems
not
like
all
such an
cut and
obvious
dry, and
thing.
there's definitely different ways to slice it. So
it almost seems weird to talk about it.
by withholding affection, I would call that a power play in the opposite direction.
What about withholding medical records?
Withholding medical records. Well, in the hypothetical, I agree. In real life, we had never, I don't think, had an encounter or hangout that didn't involve sex in some form, and not because
It didn't involve penetration. We were very particular.
Sexual activity. I'm saying that the relationship was very. Oh, that's not. I guess after.
There's a difference. Max,
I think
there's
after.
A difference. There's a difference.
I don't
There's a
think so.
difference between giving each other hand jobs and sex.
I don't
There
think
is
so.
a difference.
Oh, so do you think lesbians?
There is a
Do you think lesbians can't have sex? Homophobe?
I think there is a difference.
Do you think
intensity.
lesbians?
I think there is a difference.
Lesbians can't have
Lesbians
can't have intense.
Of course
sex.
they can.
They can't have. They can't have real intimate sex though.
Oh,
In
my opinion,
real sex
it's more real than straight sex.
Lesbians have sex
They're
with
better
their.
at it. They know their organs more. But
lesbians have
more to the
sex
point.
with their
well,
hands.
I mean, cis lesbians do anyway. But more to the point.
The hand is the lesbian sex organ. President Sunday.
No. Lesbians have
No.
breasts and vaginas and sometimes penises and anuses. I mean, they will always have anuses. I think they wouldn't do very well if they didn't.
Lesbians have sex with their hands.
Of course they do. Everyone does.
That's not. Lesbians primarily
But
have sex with their hands.
socially, culturally, it is generally considered a base farther when you're involving two genitals in contact.
That is a homophobic heteronormative value that I do not share.
Well, as a gender inclusive pansexual, I disagree. But in any case, the point is,
I don't think a penis is there. That needs to be there to make it more real or more intimate.
The point is whether or not
I genuinely think that's homophobic.
I will concede that this is a problematic cultural vestige.
Oh,
but
I
nonetheless, we are raised with it, and for many people,
yes,
it is the case that
it's
sort of like it's sort of like Catholics being okay with anal, but not with other kinds of sex before marriage.
Well, I'm not Catholic.
Similarly, never mind. Similarly, for a lot of people, it is a different and more intense step, and it does subjectively present unique dangers.
Yes.
Have like full-on genital penetration.
You can get STDs from that,
among other things.
Okay.
Yes. It's a definitionally more intense act, and a major thing is you probably are not at risk for as many STDs. Giving somebody a hand job.
You're not at risk for any STDs giving someone a hand job.
Well,
you can get like certain venereal things that are sort of like skin to skin.
Yeah.
I think if you wash your hands afterward, I think it's
Probably.
pretty safe.
I would expect so. But the point is,
Maybe you can't get herpes.
for a lot of people emotionally,
Just
that's a different step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree that layers of coercion upon layers of coercion occur in relationships and that everything could be framed as a power play. And I am sure that from her point of view, me withholding the test was a power play. And what I said to Stardust, I'll say to you right now, there's no objective thing as a power play. A power play is something that's experienced by either an outsider or the person it's being done to, or I guess even the person who's doing it, but it's a subjective label. So what I was trying to say to her, and I feel like you're now the third person to like not understand this. Maybe you probably do understand it. Maybe
No. Let's try me. Let's see.
Everyone has mouth herpes, right?
One person's healthy sexual boundary can be another person's power play, and neither person is correct.
One person's healthy sexual boundary, another person's power play. Well, I think that would be the utilization of something that is incidentally a boundary. So it would be additionally a power play by setting the boundary. It would still be a boundary, though. The nature of a boundary is not that you happen to have a certain intense feeling about it. It's that this is the line that you have set. As
Yeah. That's not the part that changes from the point of view is the necessity of it. If I know I don't have an STD, then it feels like a power play for her to demand to see
what the hell's necessity? We don't have any necessity even to be alive.
Necessity is a subjective thing, which is the entire point of what I'm saying, and the entire point of what I'm saying to Stardust. And I'm starting to feel like you genuinely don't understand. What I feel like I'm raping you.
Well, you'll be relieved to learn that I do not feel that is what is going on.
Good. I am relieved. So, from that girl's point of view, who has to see the test,
I can hold my
me refusing to show her the test probably felt like a power play. She does not empathize with my need to not show her the test. She doesn't understand it. Even if I explained it to her, she doesn't care. She doesn't care.
I'm not contending that that's a power play.
I'm not saying you are. I'm trying to explain something to you about my entire argument, my entire presentation.
No, you're right. You're right. That was a non sequitur. Continue.
Okay. So the entire presentation of my argument to Stardust was to point out...
Or unrelated, non sequitur, sorry.
Okay.
As you were.
My entire presentation was to say, yes, from your point of view, it's a power play if I don't show you the test. From my point of view, it's a power play if you ask me to show you the test. Both things can be true because they're just subjective. We don't have to decide who's right. We're both right because we both don't want to fucking get raped. Both of us are saying, I don't feel safe having sex with you under the following conditions. And so there's a lot of cases where people just shouldn't have sex because they don't have compatible boundaries. And people, third parties are obsessed with saying like, oh no, you should Steven was like, oh, it's a total red flag if you don't show her. Like you should show her and then fuck. And then other people are probably like, oh, well, that's kind of excessive for her to ask to see your papers. She shouldn't ask you that and then you should fuck. No, if two people have incompatible sexual boundaries, you could just not have sex. That's a totally fine solution. And that is what we did.
My take?
An outlined MrGirl.
Sure.
The sweatpants.
So when she asked you to produce your medical records, the proof that you had been tested and have been found to not be carrying any STDs.
Yeah.
And he did, like instantly. He already had it ready to go.
That offended you to the point where you could no longer comfortably have sex with this person because this demonstrated distrust?
It's fair.
So you just said, I don't like that you distrust me enough to have to require me to provide paperwork proving this. We are not having sex now. And then you should have walked away.
Is that not what the fuck
I know
happened?
you think that.
No.
Wait.
Because here's the upshot of you not doing it. Once you then say, we are not having sex unless you accept me doing so without the paperwork. Now she is being coerced emotionally for the reasons we just described.
How is that any different from her? How is that
into a situation? It's not.
Well, she doesn't want to have sex with somebody who refuses to show her the papers.
Yeah.
So isn't she then trying to coerce me into showing her the papers?
Yes.
No, she's setting boundaries.
I'm also setting boundaries. I will not have sex with...
You are, but here's the crucial
Wait, stop. We're both setting the same boundary.
Hang on. Wait, you're missing a crucial point, though.
I don't think so.
I think you are.
I know.
I'm gonna
I think you just
I'm gonna
infantilize
explain.
women
I'm gonna
and
explain.
can't see
I'm gonna
that you
explain.
can't
No,
see
no,
the
no.
situation as equal because you don't
Actually,
see
the
men
woman
and women
doesn't
as
matter in
equal.
this case.
You don't
The
see
woman
men
doesn't
and
matter in this
you don't
case.
see
The woman
men
does
and
not
women as
matter in this
equal.
case.
That's why you
The
can't see
woman
the
doesn't matter
situation
in
as
this
equal.
case.
You can't see
No,
the
so I'm talking.
reciprocity.
I have the same conversation with a woman. Here's the distinction you're missing. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
There's a distinction between the boundary and the way in which you deploy the articulation of that boundary. That's what makes it a weaponized thing as
But
opposed to just a
both
description of your
we both deployed.
psychological
I
position.
agree with that, but we both deployed it identically. We both
No,
were like. We both were
no,
like.
you didn't. Here's the difference. She was trying to coerce you to produce the medical records. You were trying to coerce her into sex.
No, she was trying to coerce me into the medical records. So I was trying to. No, we're both trying to have sex. I'm trying to have sex where I don't show you my papers, and she's trying to have sex where I do show her my papers.
She's trying to get you to show the papers, period. You're trying to have sex without showing
Why do you
the
think she
papers.
wants to see the papers?
She wants to see
Do you
the
think she's
papers
just curious
so
to
she can
see
have
them, or
sex
do you think
safely. Well,
yes?
actually, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
so
know.
she's trying
I
to
have no idea why she wants to show the papers.
because she wanted me to
But when we're
rail her.
talking about
She
you,
wanted to get railed out,
but
President
when we're
Sunday.
talking about,
She
but when we're
wanted to
talking
get
about
railed
you,
out.
I believe you, but when we're talking about you, what happens in the secret recesses of her mind, those are immaterial. What you have to work with as a responsible agent are
We're
the
not
signs
talking
that
about
people
the
put
secret
forward.
recesses of her mind. We were negotiating sex.
You just
Damn
told me
it.
what she wants. I don't know what she wants. I don't know this person.
Do you?
Evidently, you don't either. You were
The-
surprised by the fact that she wanted you to produce the medical document.
No, I wasn't surprised at all.
Really?
Yeah.
So, hang on. So
Swear.
you were not surprised about this.
The
You knew she would
itchiness, I
require
don't know
the
if it's all the
medical
stitches or
documents,
not.
and yet you
It's
didn't
almost worse than
bring
the
them.
pain.
Would you characterize that as a power play? Were you trying to demonstrate that you can assert your will over her?
From her
That her
point,
investment in the relationship would cause her to accept
Okay.
a sexual engagement that she's not comfortable with?
you have a deficit of empathy for men because because you infantilize
Fuck
women.
'em.
Because you infantilize women, or this leads you to infantilize women.
Fuck them too. They're all the devil.
Okay, so as a result of this deficit of empathy, you're only
Base,
able to
President
look at
Sunday,
this situation from her
endorses
point of
fucking
view,
the devil.
which is the entire thing I was trying to
No,
say.
no, no. Actually, it's quite the contrary. I'm only able to look at it from yours.
Well, I disagree. You're only able to define it from her point of view. What
I
are
know.
you drinking? 666. You donated 666. I'm drinking water.
Oh, I think you're talking to me. You
Oh.
want to donate to President Sunday in order to get like super chat responses from me. Then I'll tell you.
Based.
I don't think they're talking to you.
I think they are. I look fantastic on your television setup, by the way. Like this is like India shit when it's on like a normal YouTube video.
But
I gotta figure out a way to do this. This is good.
well, you just buy one of these little things and hook it up to your computer. All right.
I need space is the problem. Like that's a setup you. How big is the room you're working in right now?
It kind of sucks because I'd like to have two setups. So I have two desks. I have my normal desk over here, and like the window you usually see me sitting in front of is like right there. So that's why that setup is all cramped, which I'm unhappy about. But this one is nice because I dedicated half the room. But the room's like probably 15 by 15 or 12 by 12 something. It's not 13 by 13. It's not huge.
Oh, it's not too different then. I just like to have my living room. It's a small suite, so.
Yeah. There's this room is. It was originally an office, but now it is just like this set, basically.
How are you feeling about being? Well, I guess technically you dumped him. But,
Yeah, I think.
how are you feeling about the whole? I mean, I'm a little bit perplexed as to what the actual upshot of this is because I think you'll still talk to Steven if he asks you to.
Not on stream.
I think I'll still talk to Steven if he asks me to.
You will. I know you. You have to. You have no choice.
Okay. Well, then I don't think that you have a question, do you?
Well, I do.
You just want you want to celebrate my heartbreaking, sad.
Oh God, no! God.
Wait, no.
No,
Let me
no,
finish.
no.
Let me finish. My career-damaging, heartbreaking, sad stream.
Honestly, Max, I
want you to let me finish this sentence.
But I want to tell you something.
I want you to let me finish this sentence.
I think that was the most respectable thing you've ever done in your career.
I know, but you want to celebrate it by telling me that it's fake.
I don't think it's fake at all.
Well, if you think I'm just gonna talk to him whenever he asks me to, then you do think it's fake.
You can say you won't.
Yeah, but you're saying I won't do that. So you're saying it's just entirely performative.
Prove me wrong.
Well, I'm not gonna fucking leak his DMs if he asks me to talk. If he publicly asks me to talk to him, then maybe I'll get to prove you wrong.
What if he privately asked you?
Then no, I'm not gonna prove it to you. No, I'm not gonna show you the STD test. Eventually, you're gonna have to just trust me.
Mr. Girl, not an orbiter anymore.
I'm not an orbiter. All right.
All right.
Let's start the calls. Right?
Sounds good. Connect P again.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going second.
Ad break. Subscribe to President Sunday.
Oh Lord.
You know what? Shit, it kind of sucks because I really like President Sunday tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, not good.
Oh God. Oh fuck. Oh. Oh. Shaylin decided to dress up for Halloween, and part of her costume is the wig she wore in the "I'm a Pedophile" video. We still have it. It's very festive. It's very nice. Hello? Is somebody there?
Oh, for shame.
I should have put
Not
Renee's
me.
face on my face.
And
It's
I
really
didn't even,
uncomfortable though. It's really tight.
Not even talking.
Love you, Shaylin. Everybody's saying hi to Shaylin. Shaylin is based. What did she dress as? She just kind of just threw on an outfit. Because usually we just wear pajamas like all the time. So she just kind of like got dressed up to celebrate, you know.
Hello.
Here, I hope that's not for me, Max. Sorry. Hello.
So what? Yeah, Shaylin's dressing up for you. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Mr. Girl Hotline. How can I help you?
Can you help me? Are you real?
Okay.
Where are you?
Paper. I see that's you. Is this are you using like a voice to text? Or a text to voice?
I hear you. It sounds like you're coming from my head.
Jesus Christ.
Can you see anything? Can you see anything?
What the fuck is this?
I can't see anything, but your voice sounds like it's coming from my head.
All right,
Can you help me?
I
This sounds
don't know
pretty
what you're talking
creepy.
about. This is terrifying now.
Yeah, it is. This is good.
Do you see anything? Can you help me?
Okay,
I can't see anything.
no more Halloween episodes of Mr. Girl Hotline.
I
Wait.
can't see anything. Can you
Hang
turn
on.
on a light or
Wait a
something?
second.
Or...
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait.
What?
Wait.
It's a code.
A riddle.
Yeah.
It's a riddle.
Can you touch the screen? Turn on the light?
I'm touching it.
Okay, wait. Something changed.
Okay. All right, guys. I don't understand what's going on, but I
Can you
really
imagine
don't
if
like
there's just
it.
like a fucking body?
Okay, change it back. Change it back.
Wait.
What?
Change it back.
Hey!
Change it back.
You better do what she says, Max.
What? I can't even understand what she's saying. I don't know what's going on.
Paper, scissors, a woman?
Okay. Wait, can you still see anything? Oh my god, what is happening?
I don't know, but it's kind of catchy. This was a test, Max. You passed.
What was the test?
I don't know. It's checking if you're pure of heart or something.
Okay. Okay.
My child, you have sinned. Tell me your sins.
Elder, are you ready?
I weaponize sexual trauma when I
Yeah,
talk
I'm
to
ready.
women.
I gotta put you in.
All
I
right,
stole
that was
my
great.
partner's Ritz crackers.
Is it the
from
cage
cupboard
guy?
for
No,
lunch this morning.
that wasn't the cage guy. That was a mod. Good for you.
Thank you. Was it actually? I like to live on the edge.
Yes. Okay.
Ask
That
them
was
what
the
the
that
rate-
was that,
ask
that was
them
like
what
this.
their- ask
Let's
them what
move
their
on to the
rates
next
are.
caller. Because of how well they did.
That was
Is
fantastic.
it the cage guy? No. 20% of the show.
Hello.
Drazi.
Hey, I'm gonna try to turn on my camera.
Okay.
Cross your fingers for me.
Okay.
Boom. Let's go. Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm so proud that it worked. Uh,
Clark Hunt says, "Great. Now we're all gonna die in 7 days." Thanks a lot, dude. That's how it fucking feels.
that was
Holy
so
shit.
good.
Bro, this is a nightmare.
You wanted to come back for another beating, huh, Drazi?
So, I guess we'll get it out of the way in the beginning. To be clear, I had signed up previously expecting to talk to Lav as well. I'm kind of glad I didn't because I changed my mind about a lot of things regarding her. And I'm glad I didn't speak to her before I had the revelation that people shouldn't be held accountable when there's 15 fucking people screaming at them with guns to their head. So, just so you know, I didn't come here to start shit with you Sunday. However, if you want to talk about it, so that I can say things to Max that I had planned on saying. This is fine. If
I have no idea what you're talking about. But
go I'm
ahead.
sorry. I thought you had mentioned something when I first got in here, alluding to something that may or may not have happened in the past. Am I mistaken?
I think we were only talking about stuff that may or may not have happened in the past. Max, what do you think? I'm not sure what this guy's talking about.
Well, you said came back for another beating. I thought that meant something.
Oh yeah.
I know the alcohol does that. That's okay. I don't drink
Two
anymore.
4% beers? No, I don't.
How many?
What's that?
How many beers?
2 4% winter ales.
Oh, you're fine.
All right, guys.
I am fine.
I feel like this is not going anywhere. Drazi, you trying to talk to me or Sunday?
Well, I want to talk to you, but I am a little bit concerned that if Sunday and I don't address the elephant in the room, then maybe I can't talk to you.
He's concerned, Max.
I think you gotta just pick one.
Well, I would rather talk to you.
Okay.
So.
Bet you would. Continue.
This motherfucker, man. See what I mean? He's gonna distract me. He's gonna be talking shit the whole time.
That's okay. What would you like to talk about?
There's two things I wanted to talk to you about. So I guess the first one is, I think that something that I've noticed over maybe more like the last 3 or 4 months in your streams that you do have a bit of what I think some people could call an act, but I don't think it's like that. Is that I think you pretend
Max,
that you're not as sad as you are sometimes when you're
very
on
quickly,
stream.
Max. I've got people in my chat saying that your caller's audio is very loud compared to you.
Oh, is that better?
That's intentional. No, I'll turn it down. Okay, go ahead. Keep talking. I act like I'm less sad than I actually am.
Yeah, I think you're okay showing that you're sad, but I think that you, like almost everybody, when you're in front of a lot of people, you try to be a bit more tough or appear like you're not as sad. And for one, that makes me sad. And two, it makes me worried that people, because I've asked a lot of people if they think that you're acting, because that's like it's like a big question that people bring up about you a lot. Is it an act? Is he really like this? And I think that you're genuine. But I think that's probably the most disingenuine thing that you engage with. Like, I think everybody would, but I think that if you don't address it, then people can use that to imply that you are putting on an act. I just think it's something that everybody naturally does when there's people watching them.
Okay, well, I will address it by saying there is a different. There's two things. One is I think there's a difference between being dishonest and being private.
Sure.
So I don't think you have to expose all of your raw emotions in order to be honest.
I think people will accuse you of being dishonest if you're not exposing all of it.
Well, I think what would be dishonest is to pretend that you are feeling a different emotion that you're not feeling.
I
But I
agree.
think, but I think if you don't want to expose, if you don't want to express your emotions, I don't think it's dishonest to express a more muted version or to not express them. I think it's dishonest to pretend you have a feeling you don't have. But
He needs to
also,
see the snot bubbling from your nose though in
I
despair.
don't
Like
want
that's
that.
yeah, and so that's the other thing is that I'm pretty conscious of my role. So um, I think of my role as in a slight caretaker role of the audience.
Sure.
Not entirely, but I think I'm expected to be kind of like the captain of the ship, the SS MrGirl. As we drift through space, I think people, I don't want people looking to me for like the answers or like copy what I think or my opinions or anything, but I do think I still need to be in a leadership role. So
Yeah.
if I'm with Shaylin, then yeah, she gets to see me sobbing with snot bubbling out of my nose. Um, if I'm really sad about something and I end the stream and I'm sad, then yeah, I'll cry when I'm alone. But crying in front of the troops or in front of the audience or in front of the kids or in front of the, whatever role you guys are in, feels a little bit like I'm using you. Feels a little slimy, I think, for me to. And I noticed a lot of streamers look to their audience for support and caretaking. And I think it's really unhealthy for everybody involved. Um,
It makes a lot of sense. I've seen you
yeah.
cry
So
only 2 times on stream, and I just don't think you could help it.
Max has actually cried on stream. When's this?
Um, there was the when you talk to the woman who's the head of the it's like the facility that's compassionate towards pedophiles, and they get them help, and they yeah, the woman said to you, she
Prostasia.
said, "We're the yeah that one." When she said, it was right around the time that she said, "We're the first people that's ever taken these people in and said you're not a fucking monster. Do you know how that feels?" And I remember that so well because my wife was next to me, and I said, "She's doing it for him right now," and you had a tear, and you said, "You're doing it for me right now." I was like, "Oh, I called it," but it was like very. I didn't even say that out loud. It was just like in my head. So it was very emotional. And then during the Pie Man interview. There was also, but like that was fucked. Like I get it.
Well, I
And
think I think I've cried quite a few times on stream.
it's
Actually, I think there's other times.
that's the ones that I've seen you because sometimes you're on my phone. It's
Well,
very hard
I
to see tears.
sure. I definitely cried during when I was defending myself against Jerry, in
Oh,
that stream.
fuck.
But but there's a difference between yeah crying like yeah I still think you can be in a leadership role with like with having like tears versus being like no guys like I don't really think I can fucking do this anymore unless you like donate $17 or something guys like I think it's really unsightly
It's
I'm not yeah
unprofessional to sob. It is okay to cry.
it's a distortion. Yes, his name was Robert Paulson, that's right. It's I think it is a abdication of my responsibility to break down like that and implicitly ask the audience for emotional support. Yeah.
I don't disagree. Cool. I'm
Right.
glad that that you didn't disagree. Uh, yeah, I'm just glad that it's out there because I think that it's shitty when people use things that really shouldn't be against you. I don't think that you're perfect, and I think sometimes it's okay to say like, "Hey, I think you're doing this wrong," but like that would be it's just a worry of mine that I would like because I'd get mad and like yell at my computer and stuff. And if I thought it was like something could be a problem, I thought it was worth bringing up. The
Okay.
other thing is it has been brought up 2 times,
Oh.
but the last time it wasn't the time for it. Why do you think that I secretly hate you?
Is this guy?
You've de- he's descri- you've described yourself as my biggest fan.
Yeah, I self-proclaimed biggest fan. Yeah. It's kind of funny, but like also like I think I'm in the yeah. I don't know how you'd really measure that. That's just how I feel.
Have you seen the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford?
Yeah.
Evidently, Max is an educated man.
That's right. In vino veritas. There's a scene where Jesse James is sitting in the bathtub and Robert Ford standing in the doorway. And Jesse says, I don't understand. Do you want to be like me, or do you want to be me? There's a moment where they both recognize that there is a kernel of hatred, dark hatred at the center of his admiration for this man. And I see that in you.
I don't think I want to be like you. I think that one of the reasons why I really like you and what you do is
You
that
can't talk me out of this belief.
well, I understand, but if you're saying it, I feel like I'd like to say what I think. Is that fair?
When you say that you're my biggest fan, I picture you doing a stream,
yeah.
and my head being on your desk right there.
I think that's good because I think I freak you out a little bit at least. Yeah.
I'm afraid of my fans. I've told Jimmy, like, I get death threats, and I'm like, look, the Nazis, like, they hate me. They send me gross, disgusting, horrible messages about.
Can we end on this? I want to reassure him a little bit.
I'm a Jew. They're gonna kill me, but they're not. The Nazis, the haters aren't the ones who are gonna kill me. It's gonna be a fan.
I remember you said this. Yeah.
Hey, Drazi. Yeah. I think you need to stop worrying about people being intimidated by you. The only people who are afraid of you run Funko Pop shops.
The only people that are afraid of me run Funko Pop what?
Shops.
Oh.
Sunday's very good at being mean. I've advised him to stop being mean to people multiple times. I've basically given up. But I think it's actually hurt.
That is part of my big criticism of Sunday as well.
He's super mean.
Yes, I do think it's hard to sort of present yourself as the Twitch beacon or YouTube like beacon of like moral standing, and also
the arbiter,
be an absolute fucking shitter to people. I think it's very counterintuitive. I'm not saying you have to kiss everybody's ass and be super nice, but like, I think if your goal is to,
are you sure it's working wonders for you?
Okay, well, I'm not proclaiming to be that. No, I don't want to be like you. I just enjoy the way in which you do your thing a lot. But also too, your content has had everybody who, except for Sunday here, knows that it's had a big impact on my life in really positive ways. It's not a stretch at all to say that like you've helped make my life better by giving me advice that I took on your stream, and
well,
I can't not be grateful for that. Like, what am I to do?
I don't think there's any choice except to carve my heart out of my chest and stuff it into my mouth while it's still beating. I feel like there's really no. I'm not gonna understand the depth of your appreciation unless you do that. So I get it. I get where you're coming from, and I
very
really
Halloween
appreciate
themed.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I understand what you're saying. That you can't admire a person to a certain degree without actually fucking hating them. It's somewhere in there. Yeah, I think if there's any part of it, the parts of you that I probably hate are the parts that remind me of myself.
There's an obligation that I'm supposed to save your life. That anytime you're lost or confused, I'm supposed to be there. And life sucks. Your life always will deteriorate and fall apart and end, because that's just what happens to everybody. And so I will fail that obligation. Eventually, I will have experience in your mind a fall from grace. You'll be like, well, he didn't tell me about it. He wasn't here for this. And I think the hatred will grow.
I think that I think the only thing that you could do, or I'd be really fucking pissed and disappointed and lose all my respect for you, is that if you gave up. You have fought through a lot of bullshit, and I think that I think that it means a lot to the people that watch you. I think that anybody that goes through a lot of bullshit, we are watching you in the worst moments of your life, and you still show up. And I think that means a lot to people. So if you were to just go, you know what, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm tired of people being shitty to me. I'm tired of all the fucking bullshit. I'm just done. That would be hard to see, and I think that might shake, if anything.
We must never acquiesce, for it is together that we prevail.
I think that if you stepped away for other reasons, it would be fine. But if you quit, if you threw in the towel, that would be bad, because you're saying that what you're doing isn't worth it.
Okay. So
that makes sense.
You're not really countering my statement that
no, I'm not.
That there's an obligation. You feel that I have an obligation to you.
No, you don't. Like, cause what I
Well, you
think
said
what I think shouldn't
yeah.
matter to you. I think that you
Okay.
have to have it not matter to you.
Well, but
Otherwise, how
I'm
can
talking
you do
about...
your job? I'm just talking about it because I'm here.
Okay.
The conversation led this way.
What Magic the Gathering faction do you prefer?
Well, faction. I definitely like blue. I don't know if we can get that there.
I had like a blue-black deck going for a little while ago.
I like black and green.
Black is probably the best color because it has Thoughtseize.
I like
just saying that because I'm
spells.
streaming on YouTube.
I don't like too many spells. I like creatures.
You should play green. It's got all
Yeah,
the best
I
creatures
like
in the last few
green.
years.
I know. I like green. I'm genuinely curious as to how blank can be as incredibly incompetent and stupid as she is. It's actually impressive. An academic for whom any issue requiring even the barest amount of acquaintance with anything involving words, frankly, is beyond her to manage. Which would be forgivable, and I'd never remark upon it, if she wasn't also a duplicitous piece of shit. That's good, Sunday, that you provided that context in the second tweet, because the first one might have seemed really mean if you didn't explain why it was imperative that you write
anything if not thorough.
Yeah.
Or anything but.
Oh, that was hurtful. Somebody in your chat called me a Stardust Orbiter. I am,
You're a...
if anything, I'm the first
Mr.
Girl Orbiter.
The first one?
I'm pretty sure... Would I not be? Next, was there somebody that came before me?
I don't know.
That streamed... Like, all my beginning content was about Mr. Girl. If that's how that works.
I have to think about what orbiting is and if I'm comfortable even using the word. I think using the word reinforces the structure, and I think I don't want to.
Well, I think it's kind of silly anyway.
You can identify... Well, that's the problem, is that it's very insidious and abusive, but it's dressed up as being silly and funny. But you can self-identify however you want. I won't misgender you, but I choose not to participate.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
If I can,
I missed that. Wait, what? What about misgendering? Hang on, sorry.
Oh, Drazi called himself an orbiter and asked me if I agree.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. You were
that if I was the first.
No. Yeah, I was joking. I was saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the ethics of calling people orbiters.
So Sunday.
Yeah. So Clark Kunt suggests that we just say underling.
A little more accurate. Yeah. Orbiter sounds, if not silly, then a little bit fancier. Just put makeup on it.
Right.
Sunday, I'm about to get the fucking boot here. I know how these go.
Yeah, that must hurt.
I want to know that fuck it, this is how the shit goes, okay? I wanted to come in here at first and say, like, Sunday, you and I have beef, and I think we should squash it. But I realized that
whatsoever.
Well, that's not fucking true. Last time we engaged, you said a bunch of shitty things at me, and then you fucking blocked me. It was like, okay, well, that's what happened. But then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I told myself before, when I'm not interviewing people, I'm not going to be fucking nice on purpose. And I don't want to fucking squash it. I want to let you know that I think that you pretend like you're a moral beacon of Twitch and YouTube, and I think that you're a fucking asshole, and that you fucking attack people, and then you should reach out to people different. And I thought that you were that. I reached out to you once and said, hey, I think one of these things that you're doing is bad, and I sent you some information about it. You're like, that's right. Or you're like, you're right. I'm gonna change this thing. And I thought that was really good. I was like, oh, he is. But then I just seen you act like a total fucking shitter over and over again. And then when I pointed out something that I thought was immoral, you lost your fucking mind, like low-key threatened me and threw a bunch of shit at me, asked me a bunch of questions, and fucking blocked me. I thought it was fucking bullshit. So like I thought I wanted to be... You said, you said, you better not take that tweet down. If you do, I'll screenshot and post it. I fucking dare you to take it down. I'm paraphrasing, but that is the essence of what you said to me. And that's not a moral beacon of this space. And I don't want to pretend that I'm not mad about that.
Hang on. Okay. Calm down for a sec. So I said, take down, if you take down a tweet, I will post it again. So don't take it down.
Yeah, you said I fucking dare you or something like that. I have
What was the tweet? Do you recall?
I thought that the framing that you had in your George Floyd video was
Just
immoral.
read the tweet. Just read the tweet. Just read
Uh,
the tweet. Oh, okay, it's coming back to me. Yeah, right. So I made a.
I didn't
This is
see you
actually
with
kind
a
of funny.
devil
So
for
I
it.
made a yeah. So I made a video like years ago. Was it years ago? At least a
Oh.
year ago.
That was
On the
irresponsible.
George Floyd thing. Where he did a bit of a bait and switch, and I asked in the title of the video, did George Floyd deserve to be shot by the police? And then halfway through, after detailing how bad a man this was, I was like, no, it doesn't matter. This has absolutely no bearing on what's appropriate for the police to do, and for conservatives to be talking about it as if he deserved to be shot because he was a bad man, therefore the shooting of George Floyd is kosher, is absurd. And for some reason, Drazi thought this was a gotcha to post this.
I didn't think it was a gotcha.
Oh, you really did. It was hilarious. I've screen capped the whole thing.
Well, I guess you get to.
Not that it matters. I'm not going to do anything with it because you're nobody. But yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh, it just got good.
Yeah, I understand. This isn't a place for this.
You should settle this on your own streams.
No, I don't want to talk to him again.
Well, I would, but yeah, he avoids me every
well,
chance.
For Sunday, if you
You
want to
blocked me, doofus.
No, you blocked me 100%. I'll prove it.
I probably blocked you after the point where you were like, you blocked me and you were like
this
tweeting
is
about me
you're
afterwards.
literally lying about me right now. This is insane.
Drazi did tweet out a screenshot that you blocked him, and he wouldn't be able to do that if he blocked you.
So, no, I think I did block him, but I think you blocked.
I never blocked him. No.
All right, Drazi.
All right, whatever.
Thank you for your time. That's not what I intended to come here for, but yeah, thanks for hearing me out. This was
good job, Elder Drazi. I don't think I'll ever recover from that.
I wasn't trying to make you feel bad. I was trying to let you know how I feel, motherfucker.
No, you hurt you broke my spirit. I'm gonna cancel my channel tomorrow.
All right, Drazi.
I hope you have insurance for therapy.
Okay,
Take it easy, Mr. Girl.
Bye. You too.
I might.
Yeah, I got out of there. I don't give a fuck what he has to say. But yeah, thanks for hearing me
I don't
out.
think.
This was
Good job, Elder Drazi. I don't think I'll ever recover from that.
I wasn't trying to make you feel bad. I was trying to let you know how I feel, motherfucker.
No, you broke my spirit. I'm gonna cancel my channel tomorrow.
All right, Drazi.
I hope you have insurance for therapy.
Okay,
take it easy, Mr. Girl.
Bye. You too.
I might.
Yeah, I got out of there. I don't give a fuck what he has to say. But yeah, thanks for hearing me
I don't
out.
think.
This was
Good job, Elder Drazi. I don't think I'll ever recover from that.
Oh God, I wasn't trying to make you feel bad. I was trying to let you. I hate it. Sorry for that. That was awful, and I know it was awful. I need to put the fucking. I need to get the stream back up. What am I doing? I'm missing all the stuff. You're missing all the stuff because you're watching it with me. What the fuck? I'm being a bad host right now. Shit. Did I might have closed it. I think I. Oh no, there we go.
The imperative. Do you?
Come here for. But yeah, thanks for hearing me out. This was
good job, Elder Drazi. I don't think I'll ever recover from that.
All right.
I wasn't trying to make you feel bad. I was trying to let you know how I feel, motherfucker.
No, you broke my spirit.
All right.
I'm gonna cancel my channel tomorrow.
All right, Drazi. I'll talk to you later.
I hope you have insurance for therapy.
Okay.
I don't.
Take it easy, Mr. Girl.
You too.
I might die from this. That's on your shoulders.
Okay, Sunday. Do you think that it? Do you think it being mean the way you are is morally good?
I think it's morally mandated.
Okay, I believe that you are compulsively mean and hostile, and actually.
Then I'm morally lucky as well.
Yes, I think you can't stop yourself, and I think I
can't. I'm incorrigible.
I think you're trying to rationalize a compulsion to be mean that you have, rather than.
It's completely irrational.
I really appreciate the fact that Max backed me up.
Well, by saying it's morally imperative, I think it's.
No, it's morally lucky. It is also morally imperative.
And the fucking balls to lie to me.
Okay, Smith is back. This is a lot. Okay, hold on.
Face.
Darius Euthyphro has super chatted $5. What's your opinion on people misgendering trans people out of principle? I personally think it's kind of cunty.
Does he think he is lying to me like that?
I think it depends on where it's coming from. And like, are they going into situations where they get to misgender people, or is it like if you're really pressed against the wall socially, then you're like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna respect your gender pronouns. I think it depends on the situation. I think you could make a case for somebody who thinks that you know, it's terrible for women, or it's even terrible for trans people in the long run, and that they're making some conscientious
Sorry, one
stand.
moment.
Or you could have somebody who's just, you know, compulsively an asshole, who makes an argument that misgendering people happens to line up with their views, even though maybe they just are being mean.
I do feel like somebody who has failed to avail themselves of the material that would explain the nature of what's going on with this, and like the reasonableness,
I
frankly, of
really
the
like
norm of
Smith,
just abiding by
what he's
somebody's
doing right
avowed
now.
gender identity. Is
Oh, it's all making
basic
sense
courtesy.
now. He sent me a photo.
I do feel like that's essentially being an obstinate asshole with extra steps, or with extra steps omitted, I guess.
Well,
if you're definitionally, if you're talking about somebody who is actually adhering to a principle that they have to the best of their abilities thought through to, there's not a whole lot you can do.
yeah,
There's not, like, you can't tell somebody not to act in a way that they believe in, but by the same token,
Jesus
that in itself is not an argument
I
to
have
not treat
myself
that
a
person
legitimate
in a
hater.
social sense as being less cunty, right? So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place here.
I guess I reject most of the progressive narrative about gender, so I'm coming to this from a different place.
Really? How so?
How do I reject it?
Yeah. What are you rejecting, first of all? Because, like, progressive is a very broad term.
I don't think trans women are women.
Well, they're trans women, clearly.
Here we go.
But I don't think they're women.
What on earth was that?
That's Smith.
Hi, Smith.
Hi. Nice to meet you, President Sunday.
Nice to meet you, too.
Sorry for being rude. I was just
trying
to break the tension.
The current
conversation.
The current
I'm
narrative.
perfectly comfortable, but I do have to pee again.
Okay, so you're not perfectly comfortable.
Canadian bladder, my apologies.
But you will be, sure. Canadian bladder.
I wasn't breaking the tension. I was breaking the conversation because I didn't come to talk about gender.
Yeah, you're not breaking the tension.
Honest.
You're just changing the subject to Smith.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes,
well, should we wait for Sunday or?
Yeah, let's wait for Sunday. But I'll introduce myself again. I'm Smith. I'm black by popular demand.
You're black by popular demand?
That's what the shirt says. That's what the shirt says, and that's that's what the pants say.
I didn't see that. Okay, sorry.
And so I came to talk about race, and that's why I wore this.
Okay.
I thought about wearing it other times, but
it was so unlike you to misspeak. I shouldn't have doubted you.
You know what?
Yeah.
Lightman is super chatted $5. Why is President Sunday like that? I have some theories, but I don't think it's right to dig around in the man's, or attempt to dig around in the man's mind while he's tinkling. We can ask him if you want. What if you think you're feeding into their delusion and making them worse? Yeah, exactly. I think
you'd best have a degree in psychology and a mighty compelling thesis.
Well, I don't
think a random gas station owner is really in a place to start making psychological judgments about strangers.
I happen to have a degree in psychology and a really
an undergraduate degree.
Unfortunately, it is.
Oh, well, we're not in that domain yet.
I see. Okay.
Really quick, I just like to say I'm comfortable admitting that I do hate you in the core of my love for you. I do hate you.
Okay.
Yes,
you talking to me or talking to Matt?
He's talking to me. Yes, Smith. You're.
I hate you too, Sunday, but I also love you. But I don't hate you at the core. No, I hate you on the outside and love you in the core.
Thank you.
Yeah, but my outside, I think I'm actually kind of okay looking.
No, that's what you got me.
All right, I'm gonna stretch. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I felt a little bit uncomfortable about the last time I called in.
Yeah, Lav shat on you after you left.
Yeah, no, she was trying to rug pull me, so I went out and I found the primordial ooze, and I brought it back here. I'm gonna christen myself in a Jew's ooze, and I'm gonna talk about race. So.
Max, we are on YouTube. Just a heads up.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay.
I want to say it's important for me to say this. I have shorts on under this. I'm gonna take this off, and I need to tell you that because in the context of this stream, now there's this context of if a man shows their body, it's sexual harassment, and that really deeply makes me uncomfortable with my body on this stream now.
You feel like you're raping me?
or raping someone watching. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I'm going to.
All right, I'm gonna lower the audio for desktop until this caller is gone because I did work a long time
Oh my
to
God,
get
what
this
a
channel.
You
fucking
worked hard to get
nightmare.
where you're at, and you don't want it to be taken away by whatever the fuck this is. I'm streaming it on Facebook and Twitter, so I'm similarly vulnerable. So
Okay, maybe Max, maybe it would be advisable in this case to set some boundaries.
okay, Smith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I think you should
Smith is
refrain
fine.
from. I know you want to talk about race, but I think you should probably refrain from referring to any group of people in a way that could be construed as hating that group of people, like describing ooze or slime and associating it with that group. Do you think you can refrain from doing that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
I came up with that alliteration, but yeah, I'm not gonna. I have no other.
You're a
Okay.
literary genius.
It's not an alliteration, but it is a rhyme, and so I understand. But cleverness cannot be an excuse for hate. Not today, Smith. Not on stream.
All right, I'm just gonna mute my desktop. This is gonna be the silent part of the stream, guys. I'm so sorry. You can hear me speak, but you can't hear them speak.
No, he's okay. He's okay. I know it doesn't seem like it, but he's all right. He can handle this.
I'm just not gambling.
I'm getting into the ooze. Oh, okay. It's still a little warm. Ooh.
Okay. So you're getting into the ooze.
I'm in the primordial ooze.
Okay.
Here.
I love
ladle.
this. He sent me a picture of
Oh.
some of these things, and I just had no idea.
And okay, and so to be clear,
Yes.
this is a reference to when I said that Lav crawled out of the primordial ooze of my content.
Yes, and I felt like she was hoarding the ooze to herself, so I got it myself. No one can stop me.
I see. You want to crawl out of the ooze. You want to be birthed from the MrGirl primordial ooze, just like Lav was.
Yeah, I think that's why she responded so emotionally to me at the end there.
Okay, well, do you want to?
well,
you know what? I'm talking too much. We just go ahead and explain yourself. You say whatever you want within reason.
I came on. I want to try to be an advocate for Jews.
Fuck. I wanted to tell him that
you had a conversation with that feminist.
Go back to advice and confessions once in a while.
About how part of your conversation.
MrGirl, he's extraordinarily loud.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I can lower you. Go ahead, Smith. Keep talking.
Wait.
Sorry. I have him lowered. Yeah, just go ahead in Discord. Sunday, right-click his name, and then you can adjust his volume individually.
Which one are you? You're he's Smith.
That's Smith.
Yes,
yeah.
I am.
Okay.
Put you down to 0.
And I'm real Smith on Twitter.
Okay. So you want to defend Jews.
MrGirl, you can describe what's going on.
No, I want to.
Okay,
I'm gonna stretch all you want.
I'm gonna describe what's going on as you're talking, Smith, so that go ahead. Just keep going.
Okay. So I don't want to say I want to defend the Jews as much as I want to try to be an advocate and an outside voice.
You want to be an ally?
I noticed, sort of. Well, during your conversation with that feminist, you framed it as sometimes an outside voice is helpful, and the outside voice can see something different. And I feel free to push back on me, like if I say anything that you think is out of line. But I see something happening in Jewish advocacy that I think is really freaks me out and scares me when people are anti-Semitic and the way people respond to it.
Okay.
Recently, I noticed I was watching Destiny. I think Dan is Jewish, but I don't. Whether or not he's Jewish, he was defending.
I believe Dan is Jewish.
Okay, I genuinely can't tell what a Jew looks like, but he was defending. He was talking to Abba, and he was defending Jewish, like what Abba described as Jewish agents that would like give people horrible deals in the 90s for music, and they would like, you'll make no money but you'll be famous. And he was trying. Abba was making a moral case about that, saying, that's fucked up, and that's why some people have this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan's defense of that as well. You don't understand economics because nobody else is going to get that opportunity. He was talking about the cost benefit. You're talking.
Okay.
It's like
So Dan.
That freaks me out.
Okay, so Dan and Abba were arguing
should submit
about
them
Jewish
for-
executives in the '90s giving bad deals to upcoming black artists,
Yes.
and Dan was defending not Jewish people overall or even all Jewish executives. He was defending specific cases that Abba was saying where people got screwed over. Am I understanding this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I did not hear
And
this
Dan-
stream, but I saw the comments. I saw some screenshots of some very anti-Semitic comments below this stream. So, okay, continue.
But I think that the defense of Jews, there's two defenses that I see regularly when someone's anti-Semitic.
Okay.
There's the silencing, like you need to stop talking right now, approach.
Yeah.
Which I understand more. And then there's the approach where it's like, you don't understand economics. Let me teach you. Like you just don't understand supply and demand. Like you're trying to make a moral case against Jews. Well, if you're Jewish, you can like just say like that sounds shitty. I wouldn't do that.
Sunday? Are you still there?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You know what you could do? You could just mute him in OBS and listen in Discord.
I can't actually because it's all coming from one source, which is Discord.
Oh, so it mutes me if you
It
do
would
that.
mute you as
Right.
well.
I got you.
I'm
Never
sorry
mind.
for whatever I'm doing.
You're just
causing
you're
that.
just scaring him about the TOS. That's all. He doesn't trust you. Okay.
Okay.
So to recap, Smith is saying there seems to be two major forms of pushback against anti-Semitism. When the anti-Semitism is rooted in finance or control or something, and one is just don't talk about it, and the other is you don't understand the inner workings of economics or finance in order.
Yeah, like when
to...
someone points out a shitty business deal, like, and they're trying to attribute it to
what's the point?
Jews.
What's the point?
Sorry.
I think Smith is going to say that these are insufficient defenses of Jews, and he's going to try to provide a better defense.
Yeah, exactly. When someone's saying that there are like
good for him, I guess.
Good for
when
him. Well,
someone's
not just for him. Good for me too. Sorry, Smith. So defend me.
when someone's attributing like
Feel like
Jews to like an economic
Oh,
injustice thing, and they're
My
trying
apologies, I
to
hope
blame
this
it all
isn't too
on
much for you.
Jews. And they're trying to blame it all on Jews, and your defense is, well, those Jews, you don't understand economics. You need to learn, like they made those bad deals because it was the only way they could make those deals. You just don't understand. So stop thinking about the morality. You just don't understand economics. That's so dismissive, and it's going to make people hate Jews even more, especially if you're Jewish and you make that defense. It makes them be like, oh, they're all. If you're Jewish and you wouldn't do that, just say I wouldn't do that. It does sound shitty.
Yeah, I think that the fear of anti-Semitism is pretty understandable, but I do think if you're overly defensive of members of your group, the thing about anti-Semitism is that one of the anti-Semitic tropes is that you're all working together. So like if you're black and somebody accuses another black person of doing something, you can still be defensive of them and be like, well, no, like I get it, like no, it's fine, they're blah blah. Even if you're bad faith defensive of them, that doesn't feed into there isn't a narrative of like, oh, well, black people are a hive mind. They're all working together. It's very hard to combat anti-Semitism because written into it is the idea that the idea that you'll defend yourself is written into it, and the idea that you'll lie in that defense is written into it. So it's kind of inarguable. Like if the person accepts the premise that you're a liar and that you're part of a secret cult, there's really nothing you can say in response to that. I
don't agree. I've heard you say this before, and I just don't agree. I think like so.
You're saying if Jews get better at honestly criticizing each other, then
exactly
that will dispel the notion that they're all working together.
I never hear Jews criticize each other. Like, and I don't get it. Like
wait a second. Wait a second.
Jews
no, stop it. You're being anti-Semitic right now. I'm a Jew.
Okay,
I criticize Jews.
That.
Okay, I criticize Jews all the time.
See, that's why I muted him.
Yes, you're being.
I'm okay with being pushed back on. It's important in this context.
Okay. He can't hear you, so you don't have to explain yourself to him. I think it's anti-Semitic to say that you never hear Jews criticize each other. That's not true. I mean, even in the United States, Israel is a hotly contested topic.
Max, there's a book by Judith Butler called Parting Ways, and that's a massive critique of even the idea of Jewishness from a political vantage.
We'll see.
He's
There you go.
criticizing, for example, like Zionists and whatnot. So yeah.
Right, and so I'm very critical of Israel and very critical of Zionists and I'm especially critical of defensiveness around Israel. And I think Jews criticize each other all the time. I don't agree with that.
Okay,
gaslighting me
then
and lying about me
that's
on
good.
Twitter.
That's the kind of pushback I wanted.
Okay.
Like it's important.
Okay.
But I do see a lot
him.
of like very passionate pushback. Like when you were talking to the Holocaust historian,
Yeah.
and he like talking about anti-Semitism itself, and his pushback is like going on a giant diatribe where he talks about ancient history. And he's trying to
Yes.
there's
Okay,
such a culture of like giving someone like a giant lesson. You just don't know enough to not be anti-Semitic, you know?
Well, yes. So Smith is saying that I had a debate with a Holocaust professor who framed anti-Semitism as just a lack of education, and I was trying to get him to say like I was like, no, but like what? Because like as a Jew, I said it. It's always haunts me, and I think it haunts all Jews. Jews always want to know, what did we do? We must have done something, or even if not we, they must have done something. They must have done something, right? Like nobody deserves to be like genocided.
Well,
but,
I mean, they were the subjects of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, written in Russia prior to the Russian Revolution.
Sure, there's
backstabbing Weimar after the war.
Okay, but I wanted to know in day-to-day life, what was the average German citizen who ended up going along with the Holocaust? What was their perception of like the Jews that they lived and worked amongst? What did they think? What were they? If you asked them like, why? What would be the more immediate day-to-day explanations? And yeah, as Smith is saying, his response was kind of like they were just stupid or they were uneducated. And I was saying like I think that I think killing people is stupid, and I think hating people is stupid, but I think having tension or like racial tension with groups of people is kind of inevitable, and I don't think it should be like encouraged, but I think there's probably like a safe way to talk about it where we can describe like was it true that like lots of bankers were disproportionately Jewish? Were people losing their houses and it was always like a Jewish person coming to foreclose on it? Or like are there other more
Actually it wasn't. Apparently it was less than 1% of bank positions were occupied by Jews.
From what he said, he estimated he said 1% of the population was Jewish, but
no, less than 1% of the 1% of the population was Jewish. Less than 1% of the population were banker.
You're saying Jews were underrepresented in banking?
If we're talking, if we're characterizing overrepresentation as being more than
disproportionately
a
lot
of the population,
yes.
However, national Germans were way overrepresented by contrast.
Okay.
Along all vectors.
I will need to see some evidence of that. Anyway, this guy's.
I can provide them. Okay. I had a big argument.
Please
with,
do.
With
I would love to see it.
Anna Panada about this.
Okay.
He corrected the record on it.
Okay, I would like to see that. But anyway, I don't know. I have no knowledge of this. The Holocaust professor guessed 10% or 15% of bankers were Jews. My point is that whether or not that's the case, that I was looking for a more immediate explanation of like in day-to-day life, what were people's experiences with Jews that would allow them to turn on them that way. And
it wasn't their immediate experience with Jews. It was a culturally entrenched thing from before.
Well, I don't think that's possible.
I can give you sources later on.
There's no source that's going to prove that Jews weren't annoying.
Everybody's annoying. That's not specific to Jews.
Yeah, but people are annoying. Okay, anti-Semite. No, people are annoying in different ways.
I don't think Jews are annoying in specifically Jewish ways.
I'm being annoying right now in a specifically Jewish way. So
I did not know you were Jewish until somebody told me. I just thought you were a weirdo with a beard.
Right. And then they told you I was Jewish, and some little part of you went,
he is absolutely breaking Jewish law, 100%.
What does that smell?
Well, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was going to say it smells like burning marshmallows, and that's freaking me out.
Like, so...
That guy's got to be uncomfortable in that little, like, tin bucket.
Of course he's uncomfortable.
But it's warm, and I used...
Put some clothes on you, hippie.
I used only materials that are good for your skin in my safari where I hunted down the primordial...
MrGirl.tv, he is also streaming
Smith, you are not
Rumble
to put on clothes.
Facebook.
Okay.
Now, Okay, I feel like we should wrap this up. It's taking a lot longer because I have to tell Sunday everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you're wrapped up.
I just wanted to another point I had to make is I've noticed
Okay.
a trend.
Yeah, I don't want to follow.
Like this is definitely not like a predominant thing, but I just noticed a trend happening where
just a fun
a lot
fact, the
a lot
reason
of
why I
black
don't
people when they talk about
feel,
racism
conflicted
will say
about
like I want
streaming
to know
this
you're
stream,
racist. Like I want to hear what you have to like I don't want you to
sometimes
lie
I say
about it.
something's interesting about it, but mostly
And I
it's
think that
because,
that's a really admirable
he
like
gets funded by his Patreon
above
and
it
all
all
that. This
attitude.
isn't,
Okay.
it's
And
not like
I think
he's
more people should adapt
the,
that kind of attitude.
Okay, Smith is saying that black people often will say, just be racist. I want to know that you're racist. Expose yourself.
Like, I'm
Don't
not
hide
taking
it.
any
Don't
money
pretend
from
you're
him.
not. Just let the chips fall where they may. And that way I'll know who to avoid or how to keep myself safe. And he's comparing that to the response of Jews, which is much more like an effort to suppress anti-Semitism and to shut it down before it gets out of control. Jews see anti-Semitism as like a fire that might spread, and black people see racism more often like a mold that
I'm
that
certain you can find Jews who have the exact same attitude, and
Yeah.
moreover, it doesn't matter.
Probably.
Well, hold on. I don't think it doesn't matter is not a sufficient response. I think we should examine and be
Well, boy,
willing
I
to
have
talk
used the
about
restroom.
the broad different approaches to
I'm
these
not
two
very
different
happy about
types of
that. I'm gonna have to be
bigotry.
back in
I
a
think
few
that's
minutes.
a fine topic.
Right
And-
now, this moment, we need to in this
Christ.
particular exchange with
Yes,
men
this is
who
a
don't
show
understand
called
that.
Mr. Girl
shirt and-
Hotline. This is
and
yes, the
can
fact that he's not wearing a
bathtub
shirt, the
time.
fact that he
I'll
is
be
in
back in
a
like
bucket of
just a
slime
couple of
does
minutes.
not take away from the fact that
Is he actually in a bucket of slime?
Yes, he
Yeah.
just ladled some of it onto his fucking head. Yes, it's actually sitting in a bucket of slime.
Why is it on his head, though? That's not a bucket of slime. That's a man covered in slime in a bucket.
Smith knows that you can't hear him, so he's not going to respond. Okay, so I think it is worth noting that Jews see anti-Semitism as a fire or like a virus that's going to spread, and it needs to be contained and shut down immediately, not entertained, not debated, not talked about, only as necessary. And black people in this example
I
broadly
just
see.
referenced a book by a Jew who
Black-
was debating it.
Yes, I understand.
Continue, sorry. As you were saying. Go on.
If you disagree that this is a trend, then fine. But I can't imagine.
Well, we didn't characterize it as a trend. We just said Jews. If you
I
want to say
said,
this
I
a
said,
trend, I
I
have
said,
nothing to retort
I said broadly. Broadly means trend.
to. Sure. Continue. Sorry. Get.
Okay. And
move on.
black people broadly, in this hypothetical, and I think actually, or at least increasingly, see racism as a mold that does better under darkness, and when exposed to light, is less lethal and transmissible. I think that's a fine criticism to make of the response to anti-Semitism. I agree with you that we should open up a little bit and be a little more willing to, or I mean, I'm completely willing to talk about it. I guess if your total aim is to reduce it as much as possible, which is not that I hold free speech and free discussion in a higher value than I do in stopping anti-Semitism. But even if you're strategizing to reduce anti-Semitism, I still think this is not optimal. But anti-Semitism is usually conspiracy-based and paranoid.
Also,
I have
you-
one
in
thing to
its
say,
in its
though.
in its framing, and so talking about it more, like talking about whether the Sandy Hook shooting was fake. There's no amount of talking about that makes people think it's more real. By default, people don't believe in conspiracies. And then if you expose them to conspiracies over and over, they're more likely to believe them. And so to the extent that anti-Semitism is a conspiracy theory, not talking about it brings people closer to like a more realistic view of Jews.
I don't agree.
Okay. Why don't you agree
I
with that, Smith?
Because I think
First,
not talking about it in that fear and that like seeing
It's
it
like
as a
Smith,
fire.
not Smith. It's like
Yes, Smith.
Smith mixed with Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
Talking about it like it's a fire you need to contain like you're a firefighter.
Yeah.
When you are talking about Jews or Jews and Jewish advocates as firefighters, that actually does sound and feel like a conspiracy in some way. And so the way that you're fighting against the conspiratorial thinking is sorta to conspire to eliminate conspiratorial thinking.
I don't. Wait. I don't think it's a. Okay, Smith is saying it's a conspiracy to eliminate conspiratorial thinking, but I don't think it's a conspiracy. Jews are pretty open when, like the ADL, when the ADL is like, we want to shut down anti-Semitic speech. It's not a conspiracy.
Well,
they're very open about, like, let's coordinate to stop this. I don't think that it's a coordination. But it's not a conspiracy.
I think the ranking of free speech is above anti-Semitism categorically in a simple sense is a bit obscuring in its simplicity. One of the consequences of anti-Semitic discourse becoming rampant is that Jews, by being identified as Jews, their speech is no longer received as speech. What they say is now held either suspect or simply categorically ignored. And even John Stuart Mill recognized this. Like, it's not enough to just be able to make guttural sounds into the void. You need to have established a culture in which people can speak and reasonably expect, to a minimal degree, to be heard and to be understood for what they're saying.
So I agree with that. I agree that that's a good counter argument. I still don't feel the same way. I think that making predictions about a loss of free speech downstream as an justification for restricting speech now is just restricting speech. It's just like, then figure out the problem downstream and solve it then, but don't solve it by suppressing speech. That's
not really, because the issue with restrictive speech is when it makes it impossible to have certain kinds of discussion.
My issue with restrictive speech is that it's restricting speech. That is the issue.
That's just dogmatic.
Yes, I have a dogmatic belief that speech should be free.
Yeah, but what I challenge is that your characterization of free speech actually is free speech. There's a dimension in which it actually is categorically allowing certain people's free speech to be silenced or muted. I guess those are the same thing.
I don't see how allowing somebody to say the N-word on Twitter is silencing anybody.
By itself, I don't think it is. I think it's a little more particular.
Okay.
If, for example, it becomes normalized to be able to just shout down somebody who makes a point on the grounds that they are black by just slurring them, then yeah, I would say that's in the front of free speech.
It's not. That's not.
No. Look. Even you in your conversation with Steve yesterday.
Yeah.
We're pointing out that you were being dogpiled and your voice was being drowned out.
In our
not just
in the conversation with Steven, he is the government in that conversation. He has control over the speech. You're conflating a norm that people don't want to listen to black people with a policy coming down.
Norms are established and maintained by what?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're still different.
Typically
norms are different.
Governmental initiatives.
That's fine, but norms are not laws. They're still not. Even if they are related, they're not laws.
I agree.
Okay, so I am saying legally, speech should be free.
I don't think it's illegal to say the N-word, actually. Let me take a look quickly.
It's not illegal to say the N-word in the United States.
It is in some places.
It might be in Canada to call someone the N-word. It's not illegal here, and I don't think it should be.
It's illegal in the UK. I don't think it's illegal in Canada.
Okay.
Actually.
Well,
can I give you a theoretical thought experiment, or what is it? Like an example, like a hypothetical.
Oh, interesting. We don't even have hate crimes in the criminal code in Canada.
Good for you.
I did not know that.
We shouldn't either.
So.
No, I think we should. I think when a trans person gets.
This might be a provocative hypothetical.
Smith.
I just want to hear what you.
All right, Smith wants to ask a hypothetical question.
It's not like so. Let's say
this is your final contribution to Mr. Girl Hotline tonight, Smith.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
I've understood that for a while. Let's say that there's a wave of anti-Semitism happening.
Okay.
And like people are saying that, like, conspiratorial anti-Semitism, and people are saying that, oh, the Jews are all conspiring and blah blah blah, and talking all this, like, they have all this conspiratorial, weird spider web of connections they're drawing. Wouldn't a good way to fight that just be like just normal Jews being like, if that's true, that's fucked up because I'm not doing that?
Okay, Smith is saying, if there's a normalized wave of anti-Semitism, wouldn't it be good for Jews to say, if that's true, that's fucked up because I'm not doing that? instead of saying that's not happening, that's not true. I agree that there's a problem with claiming knowledge that there isn't a conspiracy because it's impossible to say that.
I mean, I don't see how, like, I mean, so individual Jews can just declare, hey, wait, I'm one of the good ones, in the hopes that they won't be grouped in with the other people who
No,
are
no, I don't think Smeth's not saying they should do it out of self-interest. He's saying that it would give the appearance of an absence of conspiracy if Jews act like pygmies.
I'm not saying to act like pygmies, though. I'm just saying, like...
That is pygmy behavior to say...
Is it really?
Yeah, it's pygmy behavior to be like, oh, I would never be a part of a conspiracy. Gee, that's really
that's
terrible if they are. Instead of being like, go fuck your mother, Nazi. Like, yeah, it's pretty different response.
That's not the important part. The important part for me is just saying, like, if that was
I don't like
true,
Nazis.
I like sharing that.
I really don't like Nazis. I'm really bitter.
I like your dislike of Nazis.
If we have, do we still have cheese for it?
Why?
Yeah, I'll make vegan pizza later.
Can I show you something?
Just keep your pants on.
No promise.
Hey, tell me this isn't worth $6,000. Look at this. Look at that.
What am I looking at here?
This is an eyeball. You see that?
It's like a swell eyeball.
Tell me this isn't worth $6,000.
You could skull fuck it.
You see that?
They really thought.
I know where I know where that mouth has been.
This thing is detailed.
Oh no.
I think that tongue is over there on the floor.
Dead Undead lost their respect for Smith and me all in the same.
I'm waiting till I'm famous and I'm gonna sell it.
When I noticed it on your table, I was glad to see it because I think you're underutilizing your coolest prop. Like, there's so much potential. Anyway, I know you were done with me.
Yes, I'm done with you, Smith. Thank you for calling, and I appreciate your contribution.
Take a bath.
All right. Thank you for putting up with me talking about Jews, because it's something that might make you uncomfortable.
You're welcome.
You're going to have to kick me.
All right. Goodbye, Smith.
Goodbye.
Well, that's Smith. It has a tongue? Of course it has a tongue. Would you pay $6,000 for a sex doll that has no tongue? Asking Jewish people to deny they're in a big worldwide conspiracy is like asking Max to show his STD tests, only maybe a little bit more reasonable. Yeah, I think it's a similar feeling of indignance of like, I don't want to have, yeah, I struggle with this a lot, actually. Like, I never want to be perceived as unwilling to criticize Jews, but I definitely don't want to be perceived as unwilling to criticize racist people or Nazis.
Sure, thank you.
So I try to just say,
I feel like there's a pretty substantial difference there. For one,
no, there is, but in how I'm perceived, I don't want to be perceived as oh, I defend people because they're a Jew. I don't want to be perceived as heavily identifying with being Jewish, because I don't. But I also don't want to be perceived as like a pick-me who criticizes other Jews to get Nazis to think I'm cool.
I understand, but the upshot is that you were not contending with Nick Fuentes about having sex with him after the stream, right?
No. It's worse than that.
Well, I mean, you're both bottoms, so that would work.
Yeah, that whole Fuentes thing really was the beginning of the end with me and Steven's collaboration there, huh?
Okay.
And still you doubt my integrity.
Why do you think Steve's your friend when he's doing that? I can't square that circle in my head.
What, courting a Nazi?
Not just courting a Nazi. Attacking people in his community and silencing them to defend courting a Nazi.
I think he's doing that to defend himself.
Of course, but in consequence.
In consequence, by association, he is defending a Nazi.
He's not your friend if he's defending somebody who wants to kill you.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true.
I think it's true.
I think in that moment he's not being a good friend. That's for
I don't
sure.
know what the word friend means if the threshold is so low that he can still be quote unquote your friend.
It's not that the threshold is low, it's that his self-protection and defensiveness is extremely high.
It's not a very valuable friend then. He seems to be kind of a coward.
Well, I don't love him for his value. I just love him.
Just irrationally.
No, it's not irrational. There are things I love about him, but obviously his relationship at that time with Fuentes is not one of the things.
What do you love about Steve?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't want my love for anyone to be interrogated or
oh no, but I think you do want to talk about it. I think you just need someone to help.
No, I don't.
Loosen the jaws of your soul.
No, I'm much more warm and sentimental and empathetic than you. And so exposing my innermost gooeyest feelings about Steven to your harsh interrogation will just be awful for me. Especially right after yesterday. Like, it'll just be
You don't think they can withstand it?
No, they can. It'll just turn into you mocking my rawest, most sensitive parts of me, and while I try to defend myself, and I don't want to.
Well, I don't think you have to defend anything.
Well, if you're gonna mock my love for somebody, I do have to defend myself, and I don't want to. So that's why I don't want to talk about it with you.
Honestly, Max, so long as you showed him your XT.
I am a Twitch streamer, but I can't stream this on Twitch.
You're not able to take you there's a lot of things you struggle to take seriously, and me loving Steven is high on the list of things you don't take seriously. So I don't so I don't want to talk about something that's really important to me if you're going to mock it.
Wait, what's like my notes? Wait, are you Are you on Dead on Dead?
Hello?
Oh, hey. If you can put my my little screensaver on the page, because it moves the same way I talk.
Oh, you're oh, I see.
Yeah.
What's like my
notes? I've spoken to you before, like 2 weeks ago. I'm the one whose brother and fiance is currently watching the stream. See? So whenever I talk,
it's super small. I don't think nobody can see that. But yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
You've got Kermit.
That's fine.
Okay.
I currently am getting off of a fever, and I'm in someone else's house, so I don't feel comfortable putting my camera on. But I think the Kermit should be good enough for me.
Okay.
So I'm sorry about that. I recently wanted to ask you about your breakup with Steven. Well, your professional breakup.
Are you on Dead on Dead?
I mean, I don't know if you can really have that with Sunday here.
Said something to me.
I think it's a little more than that.
Like Sunday, you seem to think that this is like a joke, or that he didn't give up a massive thing,
this is a love story greater than Twilight.
No, I mean I'm serious, dude.
He's not going to be able to talk about it. So if you want to try to talk about with him making one-off jokes and one-liners while we talk about it, we can try to do that. Or
okay.
We can talk about something else.
He has to make excuses for his garbage guest.
Well,
fair enough.
Actually, just to give you an update, we can move into it later. But
I do stream on Twitch though.
I spoke with my fiance
generally
about going to
stream on Twitch, but
Minneapolis.
If I ever cover the hotline,
moving far away.
I tried to destroy your family.
I have to stream on YouTube.
That's fantastic. Yes.
Or I'll get
you did it,
which is counterintuitive because I did stream.
After I spoke to her about
it the other day, I didn't have enough time to set it up.
Came clean that and I say came clean, but she doesn't know how to kind of stick up for herself, I think, and so she was very scared to just tell me, I really, really, really do not want to go. I think I'll be miserable and all these things. And we had a very strong conversation. I told her to think about if we, do we have to break up over this? We had a long conversation, and we came to the conclusion that we think we're
Hopefully,
gonna have to stay where we are,
check
and
out the
I'm
YouTube
gonna
channel
stay with our families.
after the stream.
And
There's a lot of
I
Mr. Girl
think
stuff.
you told
And,
me one thing in
you
particular,
like
which
it,
is
subscribe. I just hit 150
maybe it's a
subscribers
good
today.
thing
That's
to
very
be
cool.
where you're wanted, and it's a new thing for me. And I think I appreciate the advice, because it forced me to not just think of what my fiance was saying as, holding me back, but as like a potential way of, showing affection almost.
Okay,
And
so to remind the audience or to fill in new people,
It's not something you
from
chat
the
with
way
Lab,
you
and then I
sounded
heard you
so
on Destinies.
claustrophobic
Oh,
and
cool.
dismissive of
Thank
her
you.
wanting to stay home, and the way
for,
you
like,
described
recognizing that it was
leaving
me.
your home and moving around a lot,
That's very
I
cool.
had a suspicion that you have not, or that you've missed out
When I
on
talk
the
Destiny, it
feeling
seemed
of
very
being
polarizing.
wanted.
Either people thought I was
Your family wanted you to be
spineless,
somewhere,
or that
and
I
that you
knocked
were
it out
a
of the
little bit
park.
blind
Oh,
or
thank you.
numb
Thank
to
you
the
so much.
importance of that in your
That's,
calculation
super
of
cool.
this decision.
that's right.
Don't think I'm
Okay.
streaming
So,
tomorrow.
so
I'm
yeah, so I was
streaming a lot
pointing that
more
out to
regularly.
maybe get you to see that there might be
Yeah,
something
either
more in
tonight
it
or
for you,
tomorrow.
and that maybe it's not just claustrophobia, that it might be
Sorry, Max.
bringing up painful feelings about your own family, and also that you might be able to
Posting a
empathize with her
video.
better if you thought about that.
My video response to the Adam and Sitch
I will say
conversation.
it's definitely hard.
I talked about it on Twitter, and Adam blocked me because he's a little bitch.
I forced her to negotiate. Sort of like it's similar to what happened when we were both figuring out where our boundaries are. We're saying what are we actually willing to give up, and before she didn't know how to negotiate. I was her caretaker. I was the one who was deciding what's best for her, and I'm taking into account. And then, this is my decision.
Right, and then you can't actually advocate for yourself then without steamrolling her.
Exactly. I was bullying her.
Max,
Right.
this seems like a you thing. Would you mind if I grab coffee while you're doing this?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was bullying her. And honestly, I didn't want to. Like I tried to have that conversation, but there's an answer I really wanted to hear, and when I'd get it, it's just, even if part of me knows that it's not the actual answer, I'm just
you can't be in the role of advising her, taking care of her, and also being in control of her ultimate decision. No matter how much you try, it'll be inherently abusive to both of you.
That's right.
Interesting.
That's
good advice.
That's kind of what was happening with you and to orbiters. It feels like an orbiter is a caretakee of Steven, like Steven's caretaker.
Right. Yeah.
You call them like pimps and bosses, but I think he's not giving Steven no. I'm saying the caretaker is the pimp.
Steven. Yeah, Steven was a pimp.
Yeah, he's boss, But that's not. Steven absolutely goes on a limb for every one of his orbiters at some point. And honestly, Steven banned you for what he felt was your own good. He wanted you to take the role as a caretakee and accept that he knows what's best. You just need to wait 3 days or 4 days until it blows over.
I don't think so, because when I challenged him on it, he said, "Why would I do something that's in your best interest instead of mine?" So I don't think he was even pretending it was for my own good. I think he was saying.
The stream right afterwards, in the stream, right after you left.
Yeah.
He talked more with everyone else, and he gave your perspective. And part of what he was saying there was, if he just left for 3 days or 4 days, and the jumper came out and none of this happened, then he'd be back.
Very nice.
No.
I know, but I already answered that in the call, which is like, I know that public opinion in his community will sway heavily in my favor within a few days, because it always does. Mm-hmm. But then I'll just get dogpiled again.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah, what I'm saying is, in his mind, at least, and maybe you disagree with this, but this is my reading of him. He thought you were a belligerent child who was not taking his advice and was not letting him take care of you.
No,
and so
I don't think so.
if
It was
the
something
way that
very
I'm
He made it
cathartic
very clear
talking
that he
to
banned
Mr.
me
Girl
to
and
protect
President Sunday about
and maintain
magic,
control.
and I didn't
Yeah,
prompt
to
it.
protect
That
himself
was
and
really,
maintain
really
narrative
wild.
control over his subreddit.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But do you
I
think that he didn't also
I don't think there's any part of him that thinks that it's best for me if he bans me. I think he knew he was sacrificing my autonomy and well-being to some degree to protect himself. I think he knew he was doing that, and when I called him on it, he said, "Yeah, it's just not worth it to let you say whatever you want, even if you're getting dogpiled, it's not worth it to let you defend yourself." I think at that I think earlier on in the summer, I was given a lot more leeway because he probably underestimated my ability to reverse a dogpile with a well-written essay and a couple hundred comments. I think after I demonstrated a few times that I could pretty much flip or significantly alter public opinion of myself with a sterling Reddit post, then I think that's when he was like, okay, this is not working.
Yeah, he couldn't control the narrative on the sub.
Yeah.
As you said
my
multiple
posts are
times,
too good. My posts are too good.
As you said, you were a cancer.
Yeah, I was a cancer that he felt was going to metastasize and destroy his community somehow, which I don't think would have happened. I think what he experiences as the other or as cancer could really just be part of his community that disagrees with him about X topic, and I think his community would be huge. I think he would be so much bigger and so much richer and more powerful if he didn't do this. I think he's really shooting himself in the foot by thinking that every bit of discontent in his audience is a threat to him. I just don't think it is. I think he's being way overly self-protective.
Do you disagree with? Do you still? I mean, insensitive. So just to check, the framing of him being the caretaker and him feeling like, and not just feeling, but actively going out on a limb for his orbiters, even if he's also, like I do think that in one part of his mind, and you seem to disagree with this, that even the whole, hey, you need to eat dirt for 2 days or 3 days, and then after that you'll be fine thing is almost like a father telling their son, building character.
I don't think so.
That's kind of how.
I know he's kind of framing it like that, but I don't think he thinks that. I think he just thinks
has stolen it from me.
Instead of demanding that I restructure my moderation to protect you from this, just deal with it. It's not that bad. It'll be over in a few days.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're even indulging the idea of this person being some kind of authority. Lest we forget, he's a professional video game.
Hey, dude, he's an authority in the relationship as the head of the orbiters.
He's a StarCraft professional.
All right, I think Sunday's done with this conversation.
Yeah.
No, you carry on. I interjected. My apologies.
No,
it's not. It's not a fair conversation. If I don't actually want to just exclude Sunday from every piece of this.
Okay, so is there any final thoughts you want to give here?
Well, I was thinking I did have things to say about Sunday, and
okay.
Not to Sunday, just about Sunday.
Well, to Sunday. He's asked you about this multiple times, but you do feel like the way that you're mean, the way that you treat these serious topics as a joke. Like, you made the joke
I
of...
am mean because I take these serious topics very seriously.
You went and made the same, I think you're raping me joke asshole. That you were criticizing him for, only 30 minutes later. If somebody, if Stardust is watching that, or if somebody else who went through rape is watching that, do you think that they're seeing somebody who's actively thinking and feeling deeply about these, or just somebody who's using these as a prop to tear somebody else down?
Which is,
I think it's kind of cool looking.
Wait, could you guys not hear me?
Oh, I heard everything.
Did you just say I think it's kind of cool though?
Testing.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Brilliant.
I'm gonna lie down on the floor for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna angle the camera down.
No,
This is a
Gonna
new
stretch
exciting.
seductively.
no. I learned my lesson.
What kind of showmanship is this?
Um,
Caller, if you wanna chat with me, why don't you I mean, first of all, if you're gonna do a gotcha, like
No,
try a little harder.
No, I
But
wasn't
secondly,
I don't think it's a
gotcha. I
gotcha.
literally
This
watched
is something you just did.
Yeah, you did this 15 minutes ago, dude. You can't tell me I'm gotchaing you.
No,
Like
it's
I was
the
tone.
tone. You're
I
too
can
excited
imagine.
about it.
Wait,
What
did
I'm
you-
No,
what I'm
I'm
asking though.
upset. I'm
Came from
triggered, dude.
Mr.
I
stream, not-
believe you so
Did you-
hard, but
did
what I'm
you
saying
come here from Sunday's
is
stream
that since I'm here and you can talk to me, instead of saying something rhetorical, you
or
can actually ask me a
MrGirl's?
question.
I did ask you a question. Why would you do that if you are trying to go and actively
be Mr.
care
Girls.
about these topics? Nobody is actually.
Because I'm bitch slapping Max for doing it.
So so all you're doing is you're shitting on the actual belief that you're acting like you have. Look, I legitimately.
Wait, you're saying he's criticizing the use of
You want to
the.
take a second and like rephrase that so that makes sense?
I think he's saying that you're criticizing the use of this form of attack, but then you're also using it.
Oh no, specifically in context. I mean, generally, I don't think rape jokes are great. Besides, but I think in particular when you're talking to a friend in front of an audience who you know has a history of sexual assault, and there's a massive ambience of there being widespread sexual assault in your culture, to try and situate that person in that way by using that language, I think that's. Well, I just don't think that's acceptable.
So once again, imagine Stardust was watching,
I'd rather not.
and do you see how this sort of dismissiveness is just absolutely antithetical to your stated goals here?
Nope.
Like,
Well, if you're gonna be somebody who calls people out for bad behavior, you shouldn't.
Well, specific bad behavior.
But it's the same. He's calling you out for doing the same thing.
I do not believe all killing is murder, Max.
But even if you believe what you did is okay, then why be dismissive? Why not actually
being dismissive?
Yeah,
you're terse, but not being dismissive.
I think you were definitely dismissing this criticism.
Look, I understand if you felt like I was just trying to gotcha you, but I was writing a number of defenses on the subreddit because one thing I saw in the Cherry defense and recently is you show Max even here a genuine. No, you didn't. I'm saying you show Max here a actual respect, in the way that you do. Like, you still throw jabs and insults and all those things, but the way I see it is something about Mr. Girl has, recharacterized him in your head, and you feel like this is a good actor, and that because he's a good actor, he can do good. And I feel like that's like a lot of people are trying to say that you're just doing it because you're trying to get
your feelings
at
are
Destiny.
misleading you. I've never said anything of the sort.
I didn't say you said it. I said that's how I feel. I feel like that's why.
Facts don't care about your feelings, my dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I didn't claim that you said it, so why does it matter what the facts are?
Well, you're
I'm telling you about my.
I'm disabusing you of a misperception. I don't feel that way at all.
So you don't feel like Max is a good actor? You don't respect him?
I think he was contextually a good actor when he was challenging Destiny on the Nick Fuentes courting. I don't think a lot of the other stuff he does is okay, and I think the concentration is such that I think overall he's a bad actor. I think he has some personal charm about him, and it's unfortunate.
After his interrogation, you interrogate him earlier. What's with the thumbs up?
I like it when Sunday compliments me. Continue.
After the interrogation, that's when I felt like there was a mutual respect.
That's good.
Because Mr. Girl just absolutely, and by the way, by a good actor, I don't necessarily mean a good person. I mean, like, what he claims to do is what he actually. A lot of the people that you deal with and tear down, those people are liars. They're bad actors. They don't actually believe or think the things that they say or claim to believe. I think after the interrogation, you believed Mr. Girl actually does believe and say the things that he actually believes. Is that wrong too? Do you think he's?
Were you not listening to the beginning of the conversation where I was quite explicitly suggesting that I think he does a lot of this stuff for shock value, cynically, as evidence that he's aware of what he's doing when he says to start us in conversation. I feel like I'm raping in front of an audience. Did the implication of that just go over your head, or what?
Okay, so I know I was trying to get into that, but the conversation
what is
that
what is
Well,
the
wait,
weight
wait,
you're
if you
placing on this exactly? I'm just not sure what the point of this is.
the point of this is that if you actually think that Mr. Girl is a bad actor, if you think he's just lying, why are you here? And also, if you like, you're acting in a way that's actively, like, it's like you're just trying to tear people down to build yourself up. And I feel like you're smarter than that, and that you can show respect to people, and you do respect people, even if you're fucking lying about it right now. Like, I don't actually believe that you don't respect Mr. Girl, because I've seen how you argue with other people, and when you argue with them, you don't actually let them complete a sentence. Yes, you were hostile with Mr. Girl. Yes, you were attacking Mr. Girl. Yes, you were accusing him of lying. But none of those things are a lack of respect, because when he would answer, you would listen and you'd move on instead of just tear him down.
I think you're confusing being cordial with being respectful, and
You are not cordial. No, I'm not confusing those.
True.
Your respect,
True as fuck.
the respect just comes from the fact that you believe the shit that he says is something he believes. That's not something I think you do with anyone else you talk to.
Sorry, say it one more time. That didn't compute. That very last thing.
Can you help me with that, Max?
He thinks you're pretending that you don't respect me to cover your own hiney.
I'm pretending I don't. Respect is something that is demonstrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I've spent the entire conversation
Good
so far
God.
accusing
Okay, maybe
Mr.
that
Girl
explains
of things
it.
that I think are
When you have people
extraordinarily
lined up
wrong
to just
and
fucking
disingenuous.
bootlick
That's
for
right.
you. That's right. I was gonna say suck your dick, but Mr. Girl made a
I don't know,
point.
buddy. Like,
then I guess it's really easy to believe that you are the bastion of moral.
So much of my streaming life,
I missed what you said. I'm cutting in and out.
So much of my streaming life is watching people pretend that they don't have a warm, fuzzy, trusting feeling toward me.
I'm sorry, I cut out for a bit.
You want to know why I can talk to Max in a different way than I can talk to someone like Erudite, for instance?
Yes. Actually, that's. I think
Max,
it's because of respect.
Yeah, it's not. It's a difference though in practice, and I can consistently rely on Max to not script his interactions in advance, so that I can actually engage off the cuff and organically, without being mischaracterized or batted about, because the other person has absolutely scripted the conversation.
Yeah, they're lying. They're bad faith.
Yes, but
we can't hear you.
That's not.
I can't hear you, Max.
That's not. I can't hear you, Max, either. You've gone silent.
I really hope that he's not talking. He's just going.
Max, are you talking to us?
Still,
it looks like you're saying hello.
Yeah, it looks.
Anyways, look, man. Honestly, I think you're way too emotionally invested in a bunch of randos with webcams on the internet. Okay.
Okay, I don't care. Look,
it's bad for you. It's not good. Not healthy.
Me being sick is bad for me.
Well, that investment pays your bills, homie. I don't think that's a sufficient response.
Well, that's not true. My patrons generally want my video essays. They're mad as hell whenever I do stuff like this.
Well, even when you're in a video essay, you still got a webcam and a microphone.
I don't use my webcam for video essays.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh. Okay, listen.
Dude,
let's.
He's such a nitpicky.
Final thoughts.
Fuck. He's just trying to dig in.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. My final thought. Yeah. Actually, I just want to confirm with you, Max. Do you think he respects you? Because I do get that impression.
I think I think Sunday respects me and trusts me more than he lets on.
Yeah. I get that feeling. I think it's just. I think it's scary to be able to say that.
I can be disgusting at times, and I understand. I have sympathy for that. Also, people are often really dishonest, and so I think that if Sunday is applying like, well, whatever I perceive him as, let's apply a 20%, decrease in trustworthiness, and that's probably where he's really at. I think that's understandable. But I do get tired of people pretending that they understand me or trust me less than they do. I think Steven did that and does that sometimes. I've called a lot of people out on it, and so I'm somewhat used to it, but it is frustrating for me.
I'd be honest with you, Max.
I don't know. Can you?
I can.
Okay.
I'm always honest, in fact.
Okay.
No, he's not.
I don't think he trusts you one bit.
I think you're full of shit. I think Steven has shown that he thinks that Max is absolutely has integrity and will do what he claims he'll do.
Listen, chillax, dude. I'll let you talk afterwards. I don't think Steven trusts you at all. I think you're safe and manageable. Because you know you know until very recently where the lines are. And you stay within them. And you'll push. And you know when the tension gets too much and you back off. And that's why the Nick Fuentes stuff. That wasn't the line. That was not the line. And even in our earlier conversation, you refused to say, Destiny talks to you in private and invites you on stream. You'll still go on stream.
Wait, what did I refuse?
I know, right? You're not an orbiter anymore. You cut ties.
Wait, what did I
business as usual.
What did I refuse to say?
I hate liars.
I asked you earlier. If Destiny asks you on stream,
I really hate it when people accuse me of lying.
You're gonna go on stream.
That's not a question.
As I tell you, I've told on myself.
It was a comment, and I asked you if that was true or something like that. In the context of the conversation,
no, you've never asked me that.
You did confirm.
No, I don't think so. I think you're just telling me what you think, and I said, okay, you think that.
I think I asked you.
I don't think so.
At one point.
I don't think you did.
All right. Well, my memory's fuzzy too, so.
Okay.
Let's just do it right now.
Okay.
If Destiny asks you to come on stream in public or in private, are you going to say no?
I will say no.
I think you're giving him too much credit there. Lex Luthor's a genius. I don't know a lot about
no matter what, you're going to say no. You cut ties.
President Sunday.
No, I haven't cut ties. If he asks me,
you're not an orbiter anymore. If he asks you to come on stream.
Well, those are different. So I don't think
you're not going to allow yourself to be situated.
So now you're not asking a question anymore. You're just saying stuff, which is why I didn't respond earlier, because you just want to hear yourself talk. You're not letting me finish a sentence, so it's not good faith questioning anymore. It's just you saying what you think.
All right.
I think it's going to break your little heart when you find out that I am very honest, and all these times you called me a liar, you were making an ass of yourself.
The
boundary I've set with Steven is, I am not your orbiter. I'm not going to be summoned. You're not going to just say, oh, hey, we're talking about this thing on stream, hop on. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to participate in streams where Steven is a moderator. I'm not doing that either. I will do an occasional stream with him that is impersonal in terms of like the topic. So he said, like, do you want to do an in-person thing talking about gun rights or something? I don't know what he was talking about, but if he invites me to do something like that, I might go. If we're doing like a movie review, I might do that sometime. If I'm hosting a panel, I might have him on the panel because I will be in the position of higher power. But as far as like routinely dropping in, being parts of panels or discussions that he's hosting in terms of participating in his subreddit, I mean, I'm banned anyway, but even if I weren't, I wouldn't participate there.
Sorry,
yeah,
it is in fact spaghetti time.
I'm going to be.
You just described like 90% of what his content could possibly be about.
Well, that's not what our content has been. Our content is all the stuff we've done together is like. You watched me fight with my...
like the Jersey Shore shit where you're all like going at each other about stuff you said on Twitter, sure. I guess that's left out, sort of. Except when he's not a moderator, then you'll go on. Is he definitionally a moderator if it's on his channel?
What do you mean? If it's on his channel,
anything
I have
he
a
didn't
channel.
Say last night.
He has a channel. But if the
framing,
if I'm jumping into it's in his Discord, I'm jumping into the room with all the people or just him. Like I'm not going to do that. I think it's pretty clear to both him and me. First of all, if I said yes, it would destroy my credibility and probably really fuck up our friendship. Because what would that would mean? I did all of this just to try to twist his arm, and then it didn't even matter. It was just all for show. I honestly think that he would stop being friends with me if I did that. So I can't even do that even if I wanted to. But I don't want to do that. If I wanted to just pop into his stream whenever I want, I already had that. I already had, or maybe still have, perms in his Discord where I can just jump on his stream whenever I want. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to be his orbiter anymore. I'm not going to participate in his content in that way.
Absolutely
I'm not saying I never
true.
want to stream with him ever again, and I will do so in a safe and sufficiently distanced manner. But no, if he snaps his fingers and says, come on my stream, which he would never do, but if he did, I would say no. But he would never do that. Because he understands. He understands what I'm saying. He understands why I'm saying it, and I think he respects the decision. He's not going to try to
Destiny looked really sad and
push the boundary.
out.
He wouldn't do that.
Like he wanted to do stuff. Yeah, I know what you meant. And until all his friends showed up and said mean things.
I mean, I didn't want to interrupt. Also, my last word to you.
Sad
is
too.
If people are emotional, that doesn't mean they're wrong. You should start engaging with what the people say when they're saying something emotional. You knew what yes, that's what I'm doing. You knew what I was saying had some value to it, and that's why you focused on how I was saying it rather than what I was saying. If you want to talk about this on your own stream where you can go nuts, let's do it. That way Max can't get it. It can't stop you from just shitting all over me.
I don't know who you are. I don't want to shit all over you. I was trying to be nice. Can we,
Every time.
You're not trying to be nice. Okay,
yeah,
let's move on.
He does that every time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Leo is succeeding.
Thank you for calling.
Yep, bye.
All right, bye. Well, doesn't him saying you are constantly gaslighting him kind of push the boundary? No. He's saying I'm constantly gaslighting him because I'm levying really heavy criticisms at him one after another. And he is just discrediting me. I agree it is unfair he's discrediting me because I don't think I'm gaslighting him, and I don't know that he really thinks I'm gaslighting him. But some orbiters call me a gaslighter. I think it stuck with his community. It's a good way to discredit anything somebody says. So, and he does this with different orbiters. They get labeled as stupid, immature, gaslighter, whatever. So, I think it's fucked up, and it's part of why I left. But I don't think he's pushing my boundary of me saying I'm not going to be your orbiter if I keep getting treated this way. Like that. I don't think they're related. Steven wanted to go skeet shooting with you. Did he say that? I would go skeet shooting with him. That sounds fun.
You know what?
Yeah.
Whenever I see President Sunday
sure we'll
just like
meet
sort of
one
sitting
day.
there on a stream,
And
that's what I always think of.
I'll hug him for 3 seconds longer than he wants me to. All right. Last call.
Yo. So it was mentioned earlier in the stream
that
black people and Jews have different ways of handling bigotry, where black people want people to be honest and open about it, and Jews just want people to shut the fuck up. I don't think that's the case. I think that black people encounter bigotry more directly and individually, where it benefits them to.
You see it? I think about it like every time. I'm not like just making fun of them. I literally think about this.
The fear of Jews is.
I thought it was actually a different dinosaur at first,
Holocausts,
but
where
that's the one.
And megalomaniacs and dictators
until I was searching it.
General anti-Semitism, which erupts, and
that's what I think of when I see him.
The way
just
to handle
like
that is not so much of that.
Thank you.
I think that's.
So I'm not just trying to be a
true.
Shit.
I think your initial statement was saying that that's not true. That's how they want to handle it. But I think you're explaining some of why it's handled differently.
Genuinely, I wouldn't do that to somebody.
What I mean is, if it were the case.
I get what you're saying. An anti-Semite does not believe there's such a thing as a good Jew.
Well, to be fair, President Sunday never thinks he does.
And a racist person, someone who hates black people, probably doesn't hate like Neil deGrasse Tyson or like Barack Obama.
I hate Neil deGrasse Tyson.
There are exceptions to every rule.
I understand the framing that you're putting on this, but I'm trying to introduce.
I really like that. He just called him racist.
Which is that if a Jew were to encounter a business that didn't want to hire Jews, they would want that to be open. if they encountered anti-Semitism the same way.
They would want that to be open?
Yes.
That shirt's really
I don't
good,
think so.
Because they would know not to apply and to that business.
Yeah, but if you're afraid of a general anti-Semitic sentiment hitting a threshold where it becomes okay to kill you, expressing that sentiment gets you closer to the threshold. That's why I'm so upset about the Kanye tweets. It's because he's making it cool to hate Jews. The guy who decides what is cool has said that it's cool to hate Jews, and in doing so, I don't want him to say that. I think he should be allowed to say it.
Is really based, guys.
I think he should have the right to say it. I don't think he should be banned for saying it. I believe in free speech. He should. I don't fucking want him to say it though, because when he says it, he's jacking up anti-Semitism around the fucking world, probably like single-handedly, maybe more than any other single person could.
I agree with you, but that's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about if you were looking to be employed.
No, I would rather you just reject my application. I don't want you to make it open. Like, maybe I would want to know, but I don't want other people to know. I wouldn't want you to have a sign that says we don't have hire Jews out front. That's not good.
Yeah, but that's what black people are talking about when they say they want to know.
You just want it to be covert? It's already happening.
No, they want the cop who's beating them to say this is because you're black.
I think we're all stumped here. Do you want to...
Anyways, that's not actually what I wanted to talk about originally. It just came up during this conversation.
Is Kanye the biggest source of anti-Semitism since Hitler?
He said, read President Sunday's channel.
I am the biggest source of anti-Semitism. Okay, continue.
You're wrong about jail.
What is that?
I think you're... guess I'm being a bit of a bitch about it. My understanding of your frame of jail is that it exists because society wants to torture people, and it seems like a good way to do it. Do I have that more or less right?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's true.
How would you frame why jail exists?
For a few reasons. One, yes, society wants to torture people, and jail is torture. I believe that. That's true. Society wants revenge. When you commit a crime, it makes us feel bad, so we got to do something to make ourselves feel better, and jail is one of those things, and I would call that torture.
I understand why they're petty.
Jail also exists to try to disincentivize bad behavior. I don't think it's very good at this. I think it actually increases bad behavior, but that is part of the purpose of jail.
Maybe I just misunderstood.
I think you're conflating why it exists in the like philosophical sense versus why people build them and actually think it's good to have them. The rationalizations for jail, obviously, we all know are just whatever. They're normal rationalizations. But why we actually do it? I think it's sort of a, like in a hunter-gatherer society, the death penalty makes more sense. It's inherently passionate. It's like you don't have the infrastructure to put somebody somewhere, and in the system is dispassionate. All the justifications they keep like raping kids or something.
How about this, caller?
Far more passionate.
Caller. What if you steal a candy bar, right? And then I'm the...
Or you don't have like the infrastructure to build a structure that you can just keep someone in and feed them that they can't get out of, that costs a lot of resources. It feels like jail is like a vestige of the death penalty.
I don't think so. I think the world pre-jail is the world of lynchings and vendettas and duels, and jail allows us to abstract those things so that we can determine in a dispassionate way who is guilty of what and what their punishment should be.
I think that's why
we don't have
but jail is a punishment though.
It's passionate.
Moreover, it's also capitalized upon. People in jail are used to manufacture things.
Yeah, it's slavery. It's inherently passionate. Even if every actor in the system is dispassionate, all the justifications for jail are passionate.
Yeah,
Like,
but
like,
they,
how about
they
this,
did
caller?
post far more passionate
Caller.
outbursts of violence.
What if you steal a candy bar, right? And then I'm the justices, and I say, don't worry, we're not going to punish you. We're just going to put you into a gray box with a bunch of violent, crazy people for years until we decide what to do with you.
Well, you're arguing with the implementation of jail rather than its existence.
No, that is
That's what jail is.
That's what jail is. It's putting someone in a box.
Right, but jail is, I mean, the criminal justice system exists such that when one person rapes another, the second person doesn't burn their house down, and then the first person's family doesn't murder them. Right? It exists.
No, it does.
So that
No, it is. No, it's just. It is that. It's just dressed up. That's all it is.
No.
If you rape someone and you can prove to the government somehow with a crystal ball that you'll never rape anybody else again, then why should you go to jail? What is the utility other than it makes us feel better and revenge of putting criminals in a box?
I think the scenario you just laid out is impossible.
What are you talking about? No, hang on. That's whether or not I agree that, for example, retributive justice has any place. That's precisely what happens when you have a psychologist evaluate somebody and they say this person is at a highly low risk to offend. We should allow this person to be reintegrated into the community. That's what they're doing.
Are you talking about after being in prison?
Yes.
No, that's the process by which they remove somebody from prison. But in the meantime, they are still being punished. It's not. But
I think MrGirl's laying out a scenario such that you just raped someone and now you are proving that you will never do this again.
Like, I'm against.
Well, no. He thinks, if I may, he thinks that
Bill Cosby.
For the thing you wanted me to see.
Well, you're thinking of punishment in purely corrective terms, MrGirl. So if it becomes redundant, if the person is already established by some,
I think Bill Cosby
right.
would still
infallible means,
there's no correction, no correction necessary. So Bill Cosby, there's no correction necessary with Bill Cosby. He is not going to rape anybody ever again. He's too old, and everybody thinks he's a rapist. So
that's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee, but it is highly unlikely. In his feeble, in his feeble,
far younger than him.
In his current feeble state, he's almost like blind, isn't he? I think it is very unlikely that Bill Cosby will commit any more sex crimes. So the idea of a correctional incarceration in his case doesn't really make sense to me. I think just let him go.
I can see it though.
And that's not to say that there's something shouldn't happen, that we shouldn't have a justice system. Just jail isn't the thing that should happen.
So you're saying if you run out the clock on your crime it's such that...
No, that's not you. I'm saying your entire frame is wrong. Just the same way, if you're in a society that cuts people's hands off when they steal things, and somebody says, well, we should stop cutting people's hands off, someone like you is going to be like, well, so stealing is okay? Oh, so now it's okay to all you have to do is just steal. You can steal anything you want.
Technically, if you cut people's hands off, very effective way to keep someone from raping again. Just saying.
Well, now that we know that the hand is the lesbian sex.
That's right. It'll at least keep lesbians from raping. My point is that it's so normalized that it's in your frame of evaluating whether or not it's okay. So I'm saying I want you to just imagine a future. I think in the future, people are going to look back at jail and be like, these were barbaric people. These were horrible, barbaric people who treated each other like shit. They really thought jail was the answer. Entire books of people just explaining how jail is good. They were lost. Just the way we look at slavery. I think it's the exact same thing.
Afterwards, we euthanized criminals and all was peaceful and well in Utopia of 2044.
I don't think euthanasia. I don't think
the jail replaces. That jail replaced something worse than jail.
Yes, absolutely. I think it replaced something worse than jail, and I think something better than jail needs to replace jail because jail is torture and jail is bad.
Well, something better than jail certainly will replace jail. That's already happened in Europe and certainly in Scandinavia.
Well, I want to be part of the societal push to figure out something better and to imagine a better solution for criminality.
I also want
than
that, but
torturing
I guess
people.
what I'm saying is that happens when society gets less violent, not because we think jail is so bad.
I don't agree.
Fair enough. Also,
That's
I think you're
stupid.
delusional about what's going to happen with Dr. K.
He didn't say what he thinks is going to happen.
I actually
How
have
so?
a question about that.
Oh, okay.
Did the Crimson ever publish any article about him with regard to your complaints?
They never responded to my outreach.
So my thesis is that he's
got his hooks and everything.
More well connected and more important to all of these organizations than you or his victims that have come forward.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to blow right on the camera.
The process by which these complaints are adjudicated is sufficiently opaque that you won't get the outcome that you want. And I want to do the same thing for you that I think you wanted to do for his fans, that you are prepared for that outcome.
You are trying to be a force for good, but you're not. You're doing harm by saying this. You're trying to placate me so that I will be emotionally prepared to accept a perversion of justice and a bad actor going free and being able to hurt and exploit as many people as he wants without being stopped. Why should I be emotionally prepared for that?
Well, I'm not trying to make you do nothing about it. I'm trying for you to make you prepared for that eventuality.
I understand that, but emotional preparedness for this is like, I really hate when I see on Twitter people are like, oh, of course they're all corrupt. Whenever corruption is exposed and like a politician, they say, oh, another politician lied. When you say things like that, you are actually excusing this terrible behavior. Bad behavior should not be excused.
You're encouraging him to condition himself to be apathetic because he expects failure.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm not saying you should not have done what you did.
No,
that's not what he just said.
Will be to make him.
That's what he said. What Batman character is President Sunday?
Orienting himself around the inevitability of his own defeat. You're not going to try as hard if you already think it's pointless.
Exactly. And so if you're saying, oh no, it's worse than you think, he's connected to all these organizations, then okay, more digging and reporting and attacking and holding accountable is all necessary. Then we will re-up our efforts.
How does that change after I say this then?
Doesn't. Unless he listens to you.
I'm not listening to you. That's why it won't change. But if I did listen to you, then it would be like, oh God, I'm up against so much I can't possibly succeed. That's just how the world is.
Well, I think that would be true if what I said was nothing you or anyone else can do will have any impact. But that's not what I'm saying.
You said I'm delusional about jail and I'm delusional about Dr. K, and they're the same delusion. You're basically telling me to just accept abuse. You're saying if it's so
fair guy, but he's actually
entrenched the beliefs that people should be tortured or beliefs that Dr. K should be able to exploit people. If it's so entrenched and so widespread, it's delusional to fight it. It's not. These things are both atrocities that are being committed and need to change. Dr. K is much easier to change than like jail itself. But this is the same thing.
How about this? Here's a little interjection. I think it's delusional to expect that the pressure against Dr. K the success or failure of that effort would be manifest in the span of like a year and a half. It's a very large platform. It would take a lot of time to foment any kind of pushback against that kind of platform. People are gullible idiots and people eat that stuff up. Not forever, but you need that slow accrual of evidence against him and people actually pointing this stuff out before it becomes mainstream.
Ethics are
this
going.
This is how social change happens generally.
Streamers are.
You're arguing against the point I'm not making, which is that it's futile to do anything. I'm saying if I had a
we know what you're saying. You're saying that you should
be in the NBA. I would tell them they're delusional.
What?
Okay, you just directly contradicted yourself. Trying to get in the NBA when you're 5 feet tall is futile. So if that's the analogy, you're literally just saying it's futile. And
that's fair.
Okay. And you're connecting that to saying you shouldn't have a big emotional reaction to it, which I agree. The less outraged you are by something, the more futile it is. In fact, you're making it more futile by conditioning the audience to give up. But I don't want you to give up. I don't want anyone to give up. If Dr.
I
K,
don't see how you're saying that I'm conditioning them to give up.
Because you're telling them to expect it to fail and be calm, and that's what that's how people are when they give up. They say, "Well, the world is shit. That's just how it is." He's connected to the Crimson. Oh, well, if he knows people at the Crimson, he can shut anything down. No, we are in an unprecedented time of people being able to write their own stories and tell their own stories and publish their own articles. And like, I could write a Substack article about it. I could keep launching missile after missile after missile. And I think I am uniquely suited to be able to do that as being fairly proficient in multiple different art forms. I can keep,
if you
I
have
can't,
an
I can't keep
arsenal that
attacking.
you've not yet revealed, then perhaps that's the case. But
You're
I'm
not.
telling
You're
you
changing
what
the
the likely
subject.
outcome
You're
is
changing
of
the.
the
I
existing.
don't fucking care what you think the likely outcome is. I'm telling you that by telling people that they're probably going to fail at things that are important to them, you are actually, if you're doing it in a public forum, you're actually making it more likely that they will fail, because public sentiment is going to be one of the most important factors. However, I think you're just wrong, because
So you'd prefer less honesty in this case?
Yes.
it's not less honesty. If you go up to a fat woman on the street and you say, "You're a fat bitch," I bet you're a fucking virgin. Yeah, if you're really thinking that, you're probably being honest. If I say you shouldn't do that, does it make sense to be like, "Oh, so you want me to lie?" No, that's not less honesty. You're not engaging with what I'm saying.
No, you aim above the mark in the hopes that you can hit it, so that when you fail, you hit higher up than if you'd aimed more realistically. I think it's actually really important that when somebody's embarking on something really ambitious for a good cause, that they are extraordinarily hopeful.
Yeah,
so that
ambition is
at the
good.
very least, if they do fail, and they probably will, like, that's true, you've left a lot more work for somebody else to stand on afterwards once you're gone.
Yes, ambition is good. I have talked to fucking close friends of Byron who just said he's unstoppable. There's nothing I can do. And I'm like, well, do you want to get on camera and do an interview? And they're like, oh, there's no point. I'm scared. I'm scared of what the audience will do. I'm scared of what his. I'm scared of what his.
So you talked to someone who said he's unstoppable. You asked them to tell you this on camera. You didn't tell them to shut the fuck up?
No, I didn't ask them to tell me that he's unstoppable on camera. I said, stop being a fucking bitch and get on camera and fucking do this with me. Don't be a pussy.
You know who would be harder to take down than Dr. K? Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. True.
They were talking about his flights for years before anything happened. Years and years.
But then it did. Dr. K is a sloppy narcissist. He will fail. He will fuck up. He will continue to fuck up. He is a fuck up. He can't stop himself. He will continually make mistake after mistake after mistake, and he will screw up.
He may eventually go down.
He will go down.
Saying not as a result of what's already happened.
Okay, well, I don't agree with you, and I think we're just going in circles.
Fair enough.
I think it's inevitable that ethics are coming to streamer world. And I think when they do, Dr. K will face consequences for what he's done. And if he doesn't, I'll just keep trying to make him.
I look forward to being wrong.
All right.
I guess I better start putting a thumbnail in.
Hey, Max.
Yeah.
That looks awful.
These are all really boring. Can we try for one more?
No.
Just one more. I'm sure there's people. I'm sure they'd love it. I'm sure one person will make their day.
No, they've all gone. There's nobody even waiting anymore.
Really? Hang on. No. I don't. Oh, fuck, you're right. Yeah. But there are people watching. Surely they will show up.
No, they won't, because I don't want.
Guys, quick, get in there.
We're done.
You have a chance.
The show is over. The show is over, folks. I like saying fuck you like Mr. Girl likes saying motherfucker. Well, that's nice. What about imprisoning Nazi war criminals from World War II when they're 90 years old? That feels weird to me. Yes, exactly. Don't. When they're 90, you can sanction them. You can.
Well, that'd be. Hey, hang on a second, though. Hang on a second. When you have some person where the crime is not simply the killing of your loved ones incidentally as a machine accident,
Yeah.
The crime is also the intent to do so and the enjoyment and pleasure they took from that feeling of power, and they continue to bear that on their person into their late 90s.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely appropriate to feel a sense of injustice such that you think they should be punished even then at that point. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I do think it's wrong, but I understand
You're wrong, aren't you?
I understand your view.
It's very dark in there.
Yeah, I turn the lights off. It's the end of the show. I always do this.
Well, it's not the end of my show. You said you wanted to talk to me, but I feel like I asked you all the questions.
No, I didn't have anything specific to talk to you about. I just wanted to talk to you.
Oh my God! Fucking grovel, why don't you?
Yeah.
Well,
I am not.
Succeed with Dr. K.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not ashamed of my warm feelings towards you, Sunday. It's you who has to be careful about sanitizing me.
I don't think so. I think by this juncture, there's very little that can be done to bring you back from the dead. We're safe. I did have a long conversation with people on my server before accepting.
Yeah.
They agreed with that judgment.
Wait, back from the dead? You mean audience-wise?
More or less across the board. You're barred from mainstream platforms. You've lost your privileged status in the Destiny sphere.
Yeah.
You're not in a great position. Maybe that'll change someday, but it's not going to be fixed by me.
Probably not by you, but
What actually was the effect, if you don't mind me asking, on your numbers as a result of the YouTube ban?
It looks like I've lost about 20%.
It's not
monetary-wise, or are we just talking audience?
Monetary-wise, I think I'm making more money.
Really?
Yes.
Just on Rumble and Facebook, huh?
Super chats. Super chats and Patreon and subscriptions.
Where's the more lucrative platform, in your opinion?
Between Rumble and YouTube?
Yeah.
My super chats are on my website. Have you seen my website?
I have not, but unfortunately that will dip into the realm of advertising for you, so I can't indulge that on stream.
Oh, well, just can you look at it without advertising it? Or discussing it?
Off stream, absolutely.
Well, no, can you look at it without I'm just saying... Okay, well...
Oh, you want me to look at it while we're talking?
Yeah. Like, you don't have to show it or anything, or say where it is.
What a greasy little fuck.
Oh, this is just like this is sort of like the GG
shit.
setup.
Yeah. I hired Destiny's.
You can pitch his fucking shit on MrGirl's, but refuses a lot.
They're formalizing it into a business, and I don't know. I think it's going to be somewhere around 3,000, but I don't quote me on that. I'm guessing that's the number I've heard thrown around.
Bad, actually. Although I feel like probably get a better deal from Vosh's guy.
So, Vosh's is still based on Destiny's source code.
It is, but I thought it was a different person.
It's a different person who's doing it, but here's two problems with it. One, they take a percentage.
Right.
Two, they will shut you down if you do something they don't like.
I think I'm pretty safe.
You'd think so. I mean, Rose Risk got his site taken down.
Yeah, but Rose Risk is not dead.
Oh, what the fuck?
Well, if you're comfortable with your site being able to be yanked out from underneath you whenever you want and giving a percentage of your...
I don't think it's worth the investment right now. I'm pretty safe where I am.
I would caution you against that kind of thinking, because you'd be surprised if you get fucking mass flagged. Just if you get mass flagged for something somebody said on this show, if you have 3 streams with anything in them that can possibly be construed by a robot, your channel can just be gone. So I think I think if you can afford it and you're planning on doing content long term, I think it definitely makes sense to get your own platform and start migrating people away. Also, YouTube takes 30% of your super chats, and like on my website, all I have to pay is PayPal, which is like 3 or 4% or 5% maybe.
That's a good point. The catch, though, is that you have to migrate an audience over in the first place. If I'm only on the website and I've already been banned at like under 7K subscribers,
I wouldn't.
The website's not going to save me.
True. Yeah. So maybe not right now, but I mean, if I could go back in time, I would have done this 6 months ago.
Fair.
I really wish I had. And then just say like, for a while, I'll respond to super chats on YouTube and on my website, and eventually, like, if you want me to read your chat, you have to come to my website. I feel
like that's a 10K sub decision.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, have a good night, Max. Take
All
care.
right. You too, Sunday. Thank you. Thank you for hosting.
You're welcome.
All right. 30% is criminal. Seriously, that's not okay, and it's weird that it's allowed. 30% is a lot. Yeah. Destiny's Darvo call out in the Nick Fuentes debate was beautiful in the bind it put Mr. Girl in. Imagine the optics and saying, you calling me out for Darvoing is a Darvo tactic. Right. He and his audience set a precedent that if I make a meta comment, I'm gaslighting, but if Steven makes a meta comment, it's because he's calling me out for bad behavior. But because Steven never does bad behavior, I never need to call him out. So the only reason for me to ever make a meta comment like that or comment about his behavior is to gaslight him. It really, yeah, it put me in a bind for sure. Bye, Madame Sunday. That wasn't as bad as I thought. Yeah, Sunday and I have an interesting chemistry, I think.
What?
Yeah.
I said you cute.
Thanks, you too.
Would you ever talk to Demon Mama?
Oh,
Maybe.
God.
I think I want to get away from streaming pure streamer content on my streams. I think Hotline is a good place to talk to other streamers and kind of just like screw around. But I think that I want to have more focused discussions with more academic people or more just, I don't know, more specialized, specific discussions, I guess. So I'm not opposed to talking to Demon Mama, but I might just go on her stream and not stream it myself, or it might be a Hotline thing if that were ever to happen. Next co-host, Chud Logic. Next week. Tree of Logic and I had a impasse in our DMs and will not be streaming together in the near future, I believe. Yes, Chud Logic is next. Thoughts on doing a Mr. Girl Explains on the streamer orbiter relationship? Yeah, I might write about it too. I'm not sure. More academics, please. The conversation with Holly was one of my favorite streams yet. Yeah, I think Holly and Bogartus, Thomas. Women have first names and men have last names in my sexist world. Holly and Thomas were good streams, and I would like to do more like that. If only there were more people like them in the world. All right. Why was the Dr. K video so short? I think what you're really asking is why did it take so long to make it? I just got derailed a lot, and that deep fake took a really long time to make. I've never deep faked anything before, so I had to learn how to deep fake, and I screwed up a bunch of times. Then I had to learn how to composite it. But also shorter videos take longer to make because you have to like, there's a ton of clips and you have to make choices about where they go and the perfect pieces to take, which just takes a long time. But yeah, the NFT video will be really long if that makes you feel better. Okay. Oh, what did Jimmy make you change? He said the deepfake didn't look good enough. So I had to take another stab at it. Okay. I don't have a stream scheduled, but there will be a stream. I will announce it on Twitter and in the Discord, and it'll be on the calendar. Something this week. I don't know what, and I don't know when. And when it happens, I'll see you. Oh, maybe if I can't find anything, maybe I'll do my live stream review of Genderqueer. Maybe we'll just talk about that book. All right. Fucking Jimmy. That's right. All right. Goodbye, horses.
That's it for me tonight. Again, I will try. Still try. Arlie's very likely, given the time and all that, and I'm very exhausted from all the pain in my balls. It's been making me go to sleep like way sooner than normal. Very uncharacteristically early for me to go to bed the last few nights. So it may not get done tonight. The Adam and Stitch reaction video, or response video. God damn. I think you can safely expect it tomorrow. It'll be from this channel. It should be good. Probably the best production, most effort into production that I've ever put into a video. Also, I did talk to Smith. I don't really know if I'd call it an interview. It's more or less like a casual conversation between two MrGirl's. I thought it was really good. It was fun, and I really enjoyed making the introduction for it. It was fun. So that's it. Have a good night, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna take my wife to the gas station, and then I'm gonna I don't know, be really sad that my fucking balls hurt really bad. So I don't really have any plans. Have a good night.